that. We are now live.
Wait for Twitch to update.
It'll update momentarily, and now we will also hit the timer with a 10-second delay.
Cool. I've got ads on my stream already.
Oh no.
I'm just sitting there floating.
Okay, there we go. That is a quiet timer. That's okay. Dun, dun, dun. Dun, 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 dun.
I've moved chat so it's right in the camera.
Excellent. There's this
strange sitting there.
There's a application that I would want to use, which is called what's it called? It's not Stream Elements. No, it's OVR Toolkit. For the first couple of streams that I did, I survived with OVR Toolkit, but my frames were suffering so bad. It's cool. Like, you can put windows in your VR environment, but like, if I'm being honest, it like failed so hard while I was doing something midstream next time. So I was like, I don't know if that's worth the risk. So
No. If it's framing the life out of your stream and your PC, it's probably not the best idea.
No. So like, ever since then, I'm using like Steam VR to be able to display both my notes and what else? Basically the Twitch chat. Speaking of Twitch chat, hi Car Nerd, it's very good to see you. This is Trock.
I haven't been on a hello. I haven't been on a Twitch stream in probably a million years.
It's been a good minute.
It has.
Now, I'm trying to remember, Drock. Was it you or was it Sine Waves that I feel like I rated out to at one point during a Beat Saber stream? I'm trying to remember which one.
Gosh, how long ago was that?
Oh dear, probably like a couple of years now.
Yeah, because I haven't played in a good couple of years. Science kept playing, but
Oh
I
goodness.
have not been. I play occasionally. Played the other day with one of my other friends. We got very tired and started playing walk around mini golf instead.
Oh gee.
It was fun. We ended up just blasting the ball and finding out the little funny secrets about the game. That was a good experience.
Yeah. Hive Space, it's very good to see you, Bean. Very good to have you. How are both of you guys doing? Did you guys get to see some good fireworks? Did you eat well? How is it going? And also appreciate you guys for stopping by like much earlier than the stream would normally be. We've got friends in different time zone, and it is excite. We're gonna have a good time today. It's gonna be good.
Indeed, we will.
Now he looks a slightly bit different than his human version. This is his human avatar. This is his. I'm trying to figure out, is that a dog? Might be a dog avatar.
I have no idea. This is the default avatar that I got given in the game.
Oh, you want to celebrate the Force Base? Good. Oh, that's fair. That's good. You were able to at least relax a little bit. Our family did some fireworks on the 4th, but it was actually because I was showing Kyber like a really big fireworks store. I was like, just on a whim, he was talking to me about how he was doing fireworks at his place, and I go, oh dude, I need to show you this fireworks store now. And he goes, it can't be that big. And I go, phoom. It's like basically a whole shop with like, there's fireworks over there that cost over $1,000. Like, it's ridiculous.
Why?
'Cause America. I guess.
Oh,
I don't know.
I remember seeing videos a while ago, and I still don't know if they're fake or not, but they were like massive Chinese like ball fireworks on the back of trucks.
Oh my.
And I have no idea if they're real, but they were, yeah.
That's like
They
terrifying.
looked kind of scary. They looked a bit scary.
Just don't blow up the truck.
No. The truck catches fire, you run.
Yeah. Yeah, currently converting the HEIC videos to MP4 so I can make a Google Drive folder for y'all. Oh, you mean for your fireworks? Okay. I think I know the place you're talking about. You probably do. It checks out. Yeah, it's crazy, but like, no, I like did a stream for Kyber like on Discord, so you can like go check out the store, and he's going, whoa. And then like he starts interacting with some of the cashiers, and it's so funny. She's like, is it true you guys are some of the biggest? And he goes, no, yeah, we're some of the biggest, second biggest, of course. It's not the biggest, but it was so funny because the merchant was starting to listen to Kyber on the Discord stream. That felt surreal. It was funny. Oh gosh.
The only place I've ever seen fireworks for sale is in like the general stores that we have. Only in certain times of the year they'll sell. I just have a little shop front right at the front of the store that sells small fireworks and sparklers and stuff.
Yeah.
But it's only for like a week a year, and then the rest of the time you probably got to go little out in the corner firework sheds, I guess, or whatever.
You see, that sounds normal to me. The fact that we have a dedicated fireworks store is I don't know, like, how do I say? It's not busy,
very American.
like, yeah, it is American. It is like 99% not busy throughout the rest of the year, and then once it gets close to the day, everyone floods in, which is ridiculous.
Yeah, they might as well just not open for like 99% of the year. Just open like on the 3rd of July before everyone buys everything.
Yeah, that's awesome. It's fun. It's quite fun. Also random story. I don't think I told anyone this yet, but I may have accidentally let off a Cracker Jack in the house. I didn't mean to. I was just trying to open the box to see what was inside, but something slipped out, and we were in the kitchen, and went.
Oh, those little like paper ones.
Yeah.
I have like 4 boxes of those in my cupboard. I bought them. Me and my friend went to an arcade on the ocean seafront pier. And we were like, well, we've got all these tickets. What do we do with them? So we bought a yo-yo each, and then like 10 boxes of snapbangs. Mm-hmm. And I've still got most of them. I could throw them out my window and they'd probably blow up.
Oh
boy. Definitely a fire hazard.
Only in America would you find a semi-legalized unguided rock. Oh gee, like it's crazy too, because there's some states here that even outlaw that kind of stuff. Like some people just can't sell fireworks, so it's weird. Like some places can sell them, sometimes you can't. So it's interesting. My sister made a comment last night. If there are any aliens, they must be confused as to why every year on one specific day there's this one bit of land that wages war on the sky. Undefiable reason.
Gosh, so wait until the aliens learn out about our 5th of November traditions. We do similar stuff, but we burn like fake people and celebrate someone's death.
Oh.
That's British culture for you.
Oh my goodness. You almost remind me of Cinco de Mayo a little bit, because that's the Day of the Dead. Because they celebrate people who have like passed on, I think, at least in Mexico.
This is very different.
Oh.
This is very different.
Oh.
This one guy tried to blow up our government, basically. Well, they caught him first, and so we were like, yeah, let's execute him, and now we celebrate that like 400 years later.
Oh,
the celebration, which makes absolutely no sense to any sense of the imagination, is older than your country.
Okay then, yeah. No, we were talking about too how young this country is.
That is
like,
correct.
We were talking about how it's like 250 years old this year, so it's like not very old. I know it probably has been owned by like a couple other people before all that, but still. What else? OMG, no Kindle, it's an outside activity. No, it's an activity that you do with Kirby. You see, once you do it with Kirby, you toss it into the mouth, and then he goes, whoop, inflates.
Turns into a giant. Yeah. Giant problematic Kirby, we should call it.
No, it turns him into Bomb Kirby, you know? Oh my gosh.
That's problematic to me. If it was inside my house, I think I'd rethink having a Kirby.
Oh my gosh. Fox
You look at
Day?
the bomb Kirby and you're like,
Oh.
yes, Guy Fawkes. Yeah, that was the guy that,
I
tried to blow up Parliament.
10, 9, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, 0! We did it! We made
I was
it
expecting
here!
it to go to like negative time.
Wait, it went negative?
No, I was expecting it to though. It would be funny.
Oh, they did that once for like a musical for Undertale. It was
Right.
really funny because they had a countdown timer and all the characters from Undertale were talking on the timer, and Sans made it last minute, and it goes, "Oh, there's still time," and it goes 0, -1, -2, -3. It goes, "See?"
Oh dear. Oh,
Oh my
that's a good
goodness.
gag.
Well, welcome once again, everybody. It's very good to have you here. It has been way too long since we have done a Just Chatting. Life has happened, like things have been going all over the place. I don't really have a good explanation because life sometimes do BS. But we have been long awaiting this really exciting moment, which is the debut of none other than Just Chatting interviews featuring our fellow named Drock Next. It's very good
Hello.
to see you.
Likewise.
Oh,
Without
my
interruptions this time.
goodness. No interruptions. It's gonna be fantastic. Okay, for real though, this took you don't realize what it took to actually get here because we were at a movie, right? I had 30 minutes to be able to get back to home, and I had like another 40 minutes to be able to set everything up. That picture was made like 30 minutes ago, so we're cooking. We managed to get all the pictures inserted, and we're good. We're good, but we have studied all about Mr. Drock. Mr. Drock has a lot of really cool things to share about who he is and what he does.
I felt like a subject for the past week.
Oh dear, it was interesting because it's like, okay, the way it normally goes is like I do studying for a week, like on a person, place, or thing. This time it was a person that's like right here, so. I really dearly do appreciate like all the questions that were asked. He was like opening up to more questions even, so it's like I was reminded.
What is it?
I was like reminded of when I was in like school a while back when my teacher, they gave me a grade and they said, "This looks good. Add more comments to your code." I go, okay. So I put in some more comments in the code and it goes, "This looks good. Add more comments to your code." How many more comments do I gotta do? And so
Oh no.
so like the next couple of tests that I did, I go, "Ah!" and I document everything, and she goes, "Looks good."
Add more comments.
Nutty! Oh gee. Interrupts this in this Steam. No. Oh my gosh. But yes, we did a lot of learning of the Mr. Drock. There was actually a lot of information that he was able to help share. We have lots of pictures to give off. We have various different things to talk about. We have questions that he has no idea what I'm going to be asking him.
I look forward to that.
It's going to be good. It's going to be good. And an important thing, you guys can ask all the questions that you want. Literally ask him anytime. We are here to chat for like a good 3 hours. And we carved it out specifically for this time because he's in a different time zone. Normally this would be at 7, but in order to make sure that we can have all the time necessary, we moved it over to 5 EST. So actually, wait a minute. So what time would it be for you right now?
Let's see. Do you wanna have the challenge of trying to figure that out first, or do you just wanna?
Okay.
Or do you just want me to tell you?
Let me
Go
think.
for it.
So, whenever you are in one of the streams that I do, it's almost like a 3 to 4 hour difference. So, is it like 9 o'clock for you, or am I an hour off?
It is 10:15.
Oh! Wow, okay.
It was close.
Okay, so that means we'll be hitting it right on the dot then. That will be good.
Yes.
Okay,
and I
but
can
yeah.
go and watch the footy. Hooray.
The footy. Yes. I've been getting told all about what's been going on at the World Cup. Of like, apparently there's been a lot of crossovers with like different cultures from everybody. So that's been very interesting. Yeah. So I think this will be fun. Over here, like most of the time we talk about a lot of stuff like related to here. We're gonna be going into a little bit of his world over here. Over like, okay, please forgive me. Like UK, Europe, where specifically?
England, UK, Europe, wherever, yeah.
Okay, got it. Okay, just
whatever works for the mind.
Yeah, so we'll be getting a little bit of culture from over there. We'll be going over some really exciting things. So without further ado, I will stop my babbling, since I babble a lot. Let's do some very concentrated babbling, shall we?
That's what just chatting stream is for, isn't it?
That's valid. It'll work out. I've been loving all the interactions from the World Cup. Oh my goodness, you'll have to share a little bit, because I'm like, okay, so I do not do sport. The last time I sported anything was baseball, like back in 2008 or 9. Like I don't sport. So it's been a little while. Technically though, wait, hang on. Where's my brain going? What I would like to try to do, we have something over at our town hall, like they do dodgeballs every Tuesday. I think that would be a fun thing to do, like maybe after work, I go and throw some dodgeballs. So that could be fun. It's not a sport, but it's at least a physical activity.
Well, if it's competitive dodgeball, I think you'll be in for a shock.
Oh, I've
get pretty sweaty, as I've heard.
That'll be good. I need to actually move a lot more, because I realized how much I sat down. I had a scare YouTube video pop up, and it goes, "You get so many spine issues if you continue to sit down like this." And I go, "Oh, well, where's the? I need maybe. Let's go buy a standing desk at some point."
Yes, yeah. I've been watching my posture recently. I've been trying to, do the roll the shoulders back thing, chin back, stand properly. And then 5 minutes later, I'm back in the way I was.
That's exactly how it goes with my mom, and then I forget to do the same thing.
And then my partner will be like shoving her hand into the top of my back to try and get me to stand straight for like the whole week.
Oh, gee.
It has happened numerous times already.
Yeah, one thing that I want to do a little bit more is I'm trying to get into yoga, trying to find something that works at least within that sector. If it means that I do yoga on my own, or if I do it with a group, I think it would be good, because then I can at least stretch things out in ways that I wouldn't be able to otherwise. So that's something at least, but we'll see where that goes.
Nice.
Yeah. Stop, I'm not hungry for toast, bro. What? Oh. That was I rejected my books. We need to add more commands to this thing. If you guys like have any suggestions, like we can add it willy-nilly. This is our bot. Like it's written in JavaScript. There's a video of some Japanese men going to the gun store and people trying to take a ranch back on the airport. What?
TSA say no. TSA is scary, man.
Oh yeah. There's a whole.
I've been through an American airport once, and that was Jackson Hartfield in Atlanta, and oh my goodness, I was terrified. Heathrow is nothing like that. They're like, "Have you got any big water bottles?" No, they don't even do that anymore. They don't care about the water bottle thing. They're like, "Okay, get on the plane." I got swabbed for like probably explosives. They were like, "Yeah, can you step over here?" And they swabbed my laptop and stuff. And they're like, "Okay, you can get on the plane."
Yeah.
That was less scary than just going through security in Atlanta. Like, I had a tissue in my pocket, and they're like, "Now take it out."
Oh.
How did you see that?
What?
They were crazy. The TSA is something else, man.
Interesting. Oh my goodness. I'm sure, like, I went through TSA once because I went cross country, and like I'm used to traveling over there, but like, well, traveling through the TSA thing, but coming back was the first time I ever experienced this. If you come from a country and you go back to the United States, they will ask you like questions, like they'll grill you, and they'll go,
They asked me as well.
Where'd you go? Why'd you do it? Do you have any items there? Like, there, for at least where I went to Mexico. So when I went there, like, you know, what they're expecting is, like, they don't want to have, like, any seeds or anything that would grow in America necessarily, because if the wrong kind of seed or something gets in there, it could be, like, an invasive species for whatever is growing here. So there's, like, a lot of different things out there that, like, it can be scary, but they work really hard to make sure that you are safe while you're here and before you get out, I guess. So
Yeah, but airport security is taken very seriously in the US, I found out, whereas in the UK it was like, you kind of just walk through it. There wasn't really a lot going on.
yeah, there's historical reasons for it. That's something I could probably
Yes, I
explain
can
to you in
think of a
DMs. Yeah.
I can think of a couple.
Yeah.
Anyway, not airport chat.
It's all good. It's all good. It's quite fun. It's quite fun to talk about all the things.
Absolutely is, yeah.
Okay, so chat, here's what we got. We've got ourselves a document of interview questions, and we have a whole list of notes that help me, like, understand what Drock will be talking about, and also some ways to help follow along. Because there's a lot of history that he actually shared with me a little bit, but I didn't go extremely deep into detail on purpose, because the whole point here is to be able to talk with Mr. Drock. Wow, that rhymes. So once we actually dive deeper, I'll have some notes in here that will relate, but for the most part, we'll focus on just having a good time here and talking about a total of 16 questions with extra bullet points. So we'll see if we'll burn through those or not. So first of all, Druck, are you ready? Are you ready for your questions?
I believe so.
Let's go.
I believe I'm good.
All right. Also, too, chat, we also have various different images that we'll go ahead and we'll talk about them based off the subject at hand. Unlike the regular streams that are pretty darn structured, this one here is probably going to jump all over the place because we're talking to a beautiful human being. We'll probably talk about various different things depending on, like, what's going on. So we'll comb through the images and try to find the relevant ones based off of what we're doing.
Yeah.
So.
I probably should have sent you the slideshow on my own with the the images in order or grouped or something.
Oh, no, you're good. Okay, without further ado, let's go ahead and talk a little about some stuff. So, the first question right here, I'm gonna go ahead and preface it a little bit. When it comes down to it, Druck here has a major. He's going specifically for it, and just let me know if I'm getting this right or wrong. I think it's like robotics and hardware engineering. Is that correct?
Yeah, just robotics engineering.
Yeah.
Pretty much the same thing, really.
That makes sense. I think probably the best question to ask first, and this is something that we went over in DM, so it shouldn't be a surprise. So what actually got you inspired to get into robotics engineering, my friend?
Well, I spent a lot of my life growing up with technology, obviously. You'll know this very well. Sort of like growing up early 2000s-ish, 2010s, when technology was kind of actually cool, rather than just a new consumable.
The retro tech.
You had, exactly, you had the big robots coming up as like an actual thing rather than an imagination from the future. Robotic arms in industry, stuff like that. I saw people dressed in giant and robotic costumes, and that was cool, but also terrifying to me. And there was also Five Nights at Freddy's. And that kind of interested me a little bit. Robots are just cool, you get electronics and you make it do stuff and you make it interact with the real world. And that has always just laid an interest and a fear in my heart, and it kind of got me into it.
That's totally fair enough. I actually do have a picture for this one. We saw it early while we were preparing. So let me go to the slides. It's actually the last one, so I can just click it once and it'll be there with a 10-second delay, of course. I never really fixed that, but we have none other than this guy.
Yeah.
And you said his name was it Titan? Was it that?
Titan, yes.
Yeah. Yes, go ahead.
There's a man in there somewhere. That's a costume. That is on a giant costume, and it is terrifying. I'm like 5'9". This robot was like that tall.
Whoa. That's
And
crazy.
he'd come in on his cart with speakers blowing music and stuff, and he'd look around and spray water out of his eyes. Yeah, so that's actually not far from the scale, to be honest. It's probably a bit smaller on the screen, but
like right here, yeah?
It was pretty big, pretty good guy. And it was just so interesting. I never went near him. He scared me. But he always had an interest for me because it was just cool to see him do stuff, you know?
FrixOS_error. Hello there. It's very good to meet you. Welcome to the chat today. I'm curious here. Hang on. So it says, do you guys happen to know each other? I'm curious. Anyway, regardless, very good to see you. Special event today with our beautiful friend named Draconex. He's quite amazing. We're going to be talking all about him today. This is a just chatting interview. We're going to have a lot of fun and a good time.
Well, indeed.
No, Carnard. Oh, I see. Interesting. Well, you're always welcome to stick around here should you choose to do so. We'll be talking about all sorts of things, from robotics engineering to Mr. Titan over here, to also medieval reenactment for what he likes to do. And
yes.
Whatever he wants to talk about as well. So you're welcome to stick around, and you can even ask him questions too.
I'll do my best to answer them.
So yes, this is a very interesting robot, because you told me about him and I looked him up, and like he seems to be like a very big icon from where you came from. I feel like it's important that we do talk about it, because on the map that I saw, he apparently does like shows, like you can actually order him to go to like a place. For some reason in my mind I think catering, but he's not food. So no. Like he rents his services.
I think if he came up with like a tray of food, I don't know how I'd react, but it'd probably be with confusion of some sort. But stage shows and stuff. I think it was Beyonce. He did a show with Beyonce at one point. There was two of them on stage, and that was really cool. I didn't obviously see it, but I saw clips of it, and he's got it on the website because he's proud of that. And Britain's Got Talent, I think, or was it America's Got Talent? I think it was Britain's Got Talent. He was on as well.
Probably that one.
Pretty decent. He's a comedy guy. He's funny.
Yeah, I think that this is a really cool thing to see, because over if you look at the maps of like what he's done a lot of stuff over where he is, but not in the United States, except for one spot. And I was like, how did they do that? That's wild. But he seems like a really cool robot. We don't have like footage of him like right here directly, but you gotta look him up. His name is Titan. He moves around, and as he mentioned, like he's got like a person inside of him, but he's got like a whole thing going on. He's like, it seems like, from what I understand, he's like got a comedic bit going on too. Is that what I get? Yeah. Yeah,
his whole show is normally based around comedy.
That's fun. I love that kind of stuff. Oh my goodness. But yes, so this was one of his inspirations. He showed me too that you had like a picture on your fridge, like a couple pictures with you, some siblings, and Titan as well. That was cool.
And you could really see the scale in them.
Oh, it was huge. That was really cool. But yes, there's also that. And then I'm kind of curious, do you think you would expand a little bit on like the Five Nights at Freddy's stuff as well, if you're okay with that?
Yeah. So obviously, I think I was in, I want to say year 6 or 7 over here. That's the age of don't do that in front of me. Don't. I didn't do it on purpose. I was probably about 14 when the first couple of games came out. My friend was like, "Oh, this game on your phone and stuff. Markiplier's played it." And I'm like, "Ooh, cool,
FrixOS, thank you for the follow."
And I was thinking, like, those things could probably maybe made real.
Yeah.
And why I would want to do that, I don't know. I don't want killer robots on the loose, but I thought they'd be cool though. I like things that are scary. It's like the whole reason I'm into robotics.
Yes. I get that. Get him. No, don't die.
I should probably chase him.
Ah! No, 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 no. Okay, it's okay. It's okay.
Don't say that ever again. Don't do that.
Oh,
Our Prime Minister got in trouble at the school for doing that. Did you know that?
You see, if we don't have a guest on the stream, I can get away with that, but I can't do that here.
No. I'm too grumpy to allow that.
Oh, gee. Oh, my gosh. There was one time when, I don't know if you know, but I have, like, a redeem on my stream where, like, you can pull in, like, a Freddy Fazbear-like character. So it's like, it'll stick by my side. It's like a very small Freddle. But I left it on an accident for one of these streams because I'm not obviously in Kindle form. But like I left it on, somebody redeemed it, and I go, I'm sorry, I didn't leave that. I left it on by accident. But somebody was like, don't refund. And then somebody named On Twilight, he like backed away, and he turned himself into a Freddy Fazbear avatar just to chase me around in the stream. I was like,
That's
no!
Pretty fast. I like that. That's pretty good.
Oh my gosh.
Great entertainer.
He's a mad lad. Also I call him a tail puller because he likes to grab my tail. Oh my gosh. So with Freddy Fazbear and Five Nights at Freddy's, when did you first get into that game series? Was it like early on? Was it like during a sequel? Like what'd you wind up finding?
I think I just started watching the videos. I'll tell you a secret. I've never played a Five Nights at Freddy's game.
Oh boy.
I don't like horror. I don't like horror games. I'll watch the videos, but I don't play the games. I play Roblox horror games, and yeah, no. Not a big thing, to be honest, for me, but I just thought the robots were cool.
Yeah.
I like the robots. You
and I are probably from the same cloth there, if it weren't for the fact that I was forced to play some FNAF games.
Yeah. I'm not big into peer pressure, so I kind of just said no, not doing it.
Yeah.
Go away. And then they stopped asking.
Fair enough. Oh boy. I tried to do FNAF like on my own a long time ago, and I tried to stream it, but I was so nervous that I ended the stream like after 15 minutes. So then I kind of like set that as like a goal for somebody, and people really wanted me to do it, and I was like, no.
I remember, I remember. That wasn't too long ago, actually, was it?
No, we did 3 rounds of that. The third one is probably the one that you're thinking about, because we actually did a whole thing with we called it Project Foosball. So we created like films and everything that revolved around it. It was really fun. It was really fun to do. I want to do something like that again, because it involved like filmmaking and stuff like behind the scenes.
Nice.
What's it? Okay, so it was pretty early on, not something that you generally like wanted to play, but the concept of the robots themselves very much interests you, and it was able to help excel you to where you are.
Basically, yeah. A game and a costumed man. What got me a degree?
Yes, it's like a secret kind of It's a secret push to grow the economy, you know? It's quite impressive.
Yes, that's what they do, yeah.
Oh my goodness. Yeah, that's really cool, man. Robotics engineering is like really neat to me, because like I do like purely software, but the whole craft seems like it's broken down into like many different pieces, like all at once. Like from what I understand and just reading about it, like there's software involved obviously, but there's a lot of understanding how the hardware works, and then also
it's part of the reason I went for it, really, because I knew I wanted to do something hands-on, right?
Yeah. When
I was in high school, because how it works here, you're in high school, you choose like some subjects that you want to do in high school, get grades for them, and then you go up to college, which is 2 to 3 years depending. And I was like, okay, I want to do engineering because it's hands-on or something I'm interested in. It's something that suits my family generally as well. And at that point, I'm like, I probably want to focus on robotics engineering because it's just such a wide field of so many different disciplines in that it would be good for me to learn bits about everything, so that if I ever needed a job in various places, then I could do that. I've always been interested in code, building hardware, stuff like that. So it kind of just made sense to me to do something that was such a wide range of stuff, you know?
Yes. That's lovely to hear, honestly. It's like, it's a rare combination where, first of all, you found something very early on. That's awesome. The second thing, too, is like, you know, you're talking about how you have all these different things that you love and you're orchestrating it. That's the best part of it. Like, when it comes to learning what kind of job that you want to do, if you can have all the right tools, know how to like orchestrate it and bring it all into like a beautiful solution, like that's what really drives it. And so I'm really excited to hear that that's the kind of thing that just absolutely clicks. And when it does that, the passion itself will really burn through what you want to learn and grow with. That's excellent.
Yes, exactly.
Oh my goodness.
Yeah. It just kind of all worked out. And then I learned there was maths involved.
And math. Oh dear. That may or may not be a question later down the road.
Oh no. I'm not solving any inverse kinematics.
It's okay, we're not asking you to square root of 2. I hate math too.
Thank goodness.
Oh gee. Okay. So, oh my goodness. I like completely whiplash it. But let's see. Hang on. Well, I have just learned that one of the questions that I had was a duplicate, because it says, what would you say helped inspired your career for robotics engineering? But then it's also what inspired to get into robotics engineering. What am I trying to ask? What? Wow. Oh,
I liked robotics engineering. That's what inspired me to get into robotics engineering as a career.
That's fair.
And question answered. Next.
Oh, okay. So this next one right here, we're actually whiplashing a little bit, and you guys let me know if you want to hear more about robotics engineering and whatnot. We'll keep it attuned. But one of the things that Druck also likes to do is something called medieval reenactment. It's a very interesting kind of topic because it puts your whole mindset into a whole different timeline. But I'll go ahead and stop talking about that because we have the expert right here. The question is actually, you think you could explain your interest a little bit in medieval reenactment? Like, how would you personally describe it?
Yeah, so medieval reenactment is, I'll basically go over it first in like what that generally involves.
Okay.
So it's kind of basically you pick a timeline or timelines, some people do multiple, that you like a periods of history. And for me it's Anglo-Saxon reenactment, which is an era in English history. It's quite early on. And you get the tools, clothes, equipment and stuff, and you pretend to be a person from that era for people to then learn about the era themselves and put them in a sort of state of suspended disbelief, where they can believe they're talking to someone of that era about what they do, and have a fun time doing it.
That's really, really cool. I remember some of the earliest conversations that we had, like before this specific date. We were actually on a beautiful VR chat beach, and we were talking all about this, and I was like, that's really neat to hear on the surface, because like I come from like Furryland, right? Furryland has like, we have our conventions, but we also have our own characters that show very diverse interests, and a lot of it is like really unique and interesting. But what's fascinating to this is that it has high orchestration, right? So everybody's like quite literally in the same era, the same time, and their goal is to act like that, but in a sense where people can like freely talk to them, even with like modern language and all of that. It seemed really cool to me when you first described it. I love that so much.
Some people will be a bit more in-depth and spend a lot more time on it and perhaps learn the languages of the people of the past and learn to speak like them. I intend to do that at some point, but I'm slow. I'm busy. But yeah, it can be quite orchestrated. It depends on sort of like the groups you're with. Some are more specific about stuff, and others are less specific. I'm waiting for the screen to change in about 5 seconds.
We're getting there. There's a lot of electronic pictures.
Yes.
There we go. Here we go. Found it. It's updating. There's a lot of electronic stuff, but we'll go over that. There we go. This one.
Okay, yeah. So this specific image, this was a good day. I think we got hired out by a homeschool group. So they're a group of kids that sort of like obviously parents too that interact with each other and are all homeschooled and things like that. So it's, and they wanted to get out to a campsite and have lessons on Viking history, which is similar time frame basically. The rest of the group are Vikings. They made fun of me a lot. There's a rivalry going on there. But in essence, we thought, how could we make this fun for all of the kids that are having fun there, rather than just talking about, hey, we dress up wounds and pack them with different plants, and we sew clothing together, because kids are not interested in that. We thought, make them paint shields and then have them charge at us. And they had a lot of fun with that, and we have done it a good number of times, and they continue to have a lot of fun every single time. Although I did end up with a lot of pink paint all over my tunic.
Oh my goodness, it's quite literally
I didn't quite have them dry enough. yes. But it was a lot of fun. There was a lot involved there. People learned a lot of stuff. And yeah, it's a good educational event. It's a good way to do this kind of stuff, just learn about different things, because it's all cool talking about history in class, you got the paper and you write stuff down, or you can see it in person and have it lived. On horseback, no, I have to be trained if I want to go on horseback, and a lot of events don't have the room for horses in them. But there's nothing stopping me going on horseback if it is something I'm trained to do and the event space has enough room for doing such a thing. Some people do. There's a reenactment event at Hastings every year to reenact the Battle of Hastings, which is basically where English history changed to be more French. And there are often horseback riders there as well, and they are cool. They're very cool looking. But no, I'm not nearly trained enough to do that. Although I wouldn't turn down the offer.
I'm hearing a couple of things here, which is very interesting. One, potentially you could go on horseback, but then two, you could also learn some Old English, like you actually were English. You were attempting to actually do so in something called the No More Excuses Challenge, which was something. Yeah.
That was a time.
He was working on that, but he has the stuff necessary for it. But you can kind of hear what he's talking about. When he's wanting to do the medieval reenactment, he wants to provide like a full immersive experience to a whole different world that is very different from ours now. But it's also very interesting because by doing that, you get to share and amplify this experience in a way that you couldn't otherwise do before if you weren't combining all those things. So it's very wild.
They're a lot of fun, and I know that obviously in the States you've got various periods of history that are fun to reenact as well, and are probably reenacted quite often. So if there's a reenactment event nearby, it's worthwhile having a look and checking people out, because it's a lot of fun. It's a lot of fun to do.
Oh my goodness, yes. And when you wind up practicing any like additional skills with all those, like I'll try to tie it in with the sub questions here, because it makes sense to me if we actually start talking about your character. So you've talked to me a little bit about how inside your thing, you have like a whole persona that you are setting yourself up as, but by doing so, you're able to create lore, you're able to create like a whole picture for somebody who is just popping into the event for the first time. So the question that I have here, it's nebulous and ambiguous, but for the audience, what would you say your character is like when you're doing medieval reenactment?
So I tend to portray a lowly peasant person, not in this image because that was quite early on, but quite a low status but free person. And generally, obviously because it's a public event, you be as kind as possible to people, and let them sort of learn about the period. But what I will eventually intend to push, because I've joined a new group and things have changed from there, is try and push the history of certain things I specifically am interested in, i.e. the faith side of things that I've spoken to you before, and whatever I tend to go towards hobby-wise as well, and work-wise, I suppose, in this period, i.e. it could be food, it could be medicine, stuff like that. You know, yeah, I mean, that's all I really can say about that one.
Yeah, it's all good. And you're more than welcome to talk about the kind of religion that your character does work with, because it's also something that you tied into yourself. So what would you say that personally was on your end?
What do you mean, like, just how it is for me, like the faith in general? Like,
yeah, if you're open to talking about it.
Yeah. So basically, the faith that I practice now is what we can dig up from sources on the past of the Anglo-Saxons, because what a lot of people know from various shows and stuff were the Anglo-Saxons were Christian people. They were very devout and very, you know, proper Christian people, and the king was Christian and stuff. But that was only true of about, well, sort of a time span. It was sort of a mix, but from about 800 AD, it was about the time where everything was like pretty much completely Christianized. Before that, though, there was a religion a lot more akin to what people know as what Vikings did. The heathenry with the multiple gods and the pantheon and stuff like that. But we have a lot less sources on it because it was earlier, and the Christian monks didn't really want to write about it very much, because it was a conversion effort at the end of the day. But we do have various sources on it, from archaeology to some writing. They didn't, leave us completely out in the open. And what I do is pretty much based off of that and what we know, but also in a more modern version of the practice, because I can't sacrifice a lamb in my house because I'd probably get arrested. Yeah, it's probably not a good idea. But I try and bring that into my reenactment because I experience this day to day and understand the faith on my own from the past 3 years of practice that I've been learning. I can teach other people and say, hey, they weren't all Christians. They did have their own cool things too, and discuss that sort of thing. And actually, the conversion itself and that era of history is also very interesting to me. I really like that period of history because it was not blood, guts, and war and killing each other. It was a very subtle change of things over time, which is how we ended up with folklore. Because it was a case of, like, we have gods, we believe in the stuff they do, but we also have, the Christian stuff. So they sort of, like, shrank it down and kept it as folklore instead.
Yeah. That's fascinating.
It makes some very interesting stuff.
Yeah. That's interesting to think about, because, like, when you're in a section of peace, like, after, like, not having to do a lot of, like, intense war for a long time, I'm sure it probably allows for a lot of creativity to be, like, brought into the whole situation from all those years ago. So it's interesting to have points of time like that, so then people can have that kind of prosperity, but also being able to have fun in the process.
Yes. Yeah.
That's cool. Cool. Gua, what happened? Oh, they were booped. That's what happened. Oh my goodness. Let's see. So, okay. So in the context of, like, the medieval reenactment, you have described a couple of things that the kids have done. You described what you've done a little bit, but I think what would be worth it is to expand a little bit more on, like, all the other stuff that happens inside the reenactment. So, from your experience, what are other things that you could do over there at a reenactment?
Are we talking whilst members of the public are there, or whilst they are not there?
Oh, that's it.
Because they're two very different times.
Well, how about we go for both? We could talk about what happens, like, for the public, but then it sounds like behind the scenes also it could be very deep, because you probably have a lot of stuff that you're working on in order to actually make that happen for the public. So we could start with the public perception, and we could go for what you're talking about, or at least the other side.
Yeah. I'll correct that later when I get to it. But,
Okay.
So when public are there, there's often a lot of like talk between people about how the events are going to be run. If you've got combat involved, we'll decide who is going to do the combat and who's going to be the one that takes the hits and dies and this kind of stuff. If it's that kind of, show reenactment rather than just fighting each other, because that happens too.
Yeah.
And then how it leads on, because one of the ones I went to when I met my new group was that they had a battle. They were showing off the weapons, like the axes and the swords and the spears and the axes, and then they had a battle, and then one guy died or got really injured, and that led on to them dragging him out to another tent to then show off the medicine side of things. And that's how I got really interested, because I still do like the medicine side of stuff. It's cool. And sort of sadly the guy died, and they talked about funerary practice. Obviously in law.
Oh, okay. I was gonna say.
Yeah, they didn't just straight obviously not that bad. Ooh, what's going on there? They didn't straight up murder someone, but they covered him over with a white blanket, and he stayed very, very, very still.
Right.
But that was quite cool, talking about burial practices, well, just general funerary practices for, I think it was, this one specifically was the Christianized peoples. Because they had like monks there and stuff, or monk characters. What else do they talk about? It's kind of generally just focused on the public, but there's also the sides of like, food and making sure people are drinking and stuff, just the general logistical side of things.
Yeah.
When the public are not there, there might be discussions of what's happening tomorrow, putting up plastic tents. We don't allow them on the site. Generally, it breaks immersion. You're allowed to buy canvas tents, and if they're period accurate, you can sleep them. Yes, that's quite cool. They're also very expensive.
Yeah.
You're looking at like $600 for a small tent.
Oh, shit.
Yeah, they're not cheap. That's why I don't have one yet. I've just learned to put up and pack down my tent very quickly. But there's also the typical alcohol involved. But we don't allow that on normal time, because we've normally got combat and people involved, and obviously you don't want that.
Yeah.
And alcohol mixing, because that could end badly. But normally after the time, it's just people sitting down. A lot of people still stay in character a lot of the time, or semi in character, have a chat, have some drinks, and chill out. It's a really good, just communal kind of thing. Obviously you don't need to drink, up to you. I do, but and it's just a good sort of like fellowship kind of deal. You just kind of sit down and chat, and the last one I was at, I think it was at 1 o'clock in the morning. We'd had our time. Everyone else had practically gone to bed, and me and this guy who'd basically just joined the group, I think it was basically new to reenactment. He came over and we just started talking about rom-com anime for like an hour, just in Viking uniform. It was a very interesting time. Yeah, it was quite a brain shock. I sort of stood up and was like, rom-com, like looking at the uniforms and then looking at the subject matter, and I was thinking, that's two very different things,
That is funny. So like, yeah, that makes sense. It sounds like an overall really cool like experience to kind of wrap your mind into the situation. Like the way that you described that. Oh, go ahead.
Yeah, no, as I was saying, it's sort of like probably quite similar to how cons work for you and the very community, where there's obviously times and spaces where people do certain things and have just these kind of, I guess, rituals on their own in their own site related to the community.
Right.
It's similar for us. After the public goes home, pack stuff up that needs to be packed up, leave it out if we're lazy and it won't rust. Make sure we can sleep, and then food and alcohol comes out, and that's the evening times.
Yeah.
It's just those little communities you can probably relate to. I'm not part of the community, so I don't really know, but there probably are things similar that you might be able to understand and relate to.
Yeah. Like when it comes down to that, I can think of a lot of different analogs that come down to it. So obviously I don't think we have tents for what we do. That's the one thing, because usually during some of these conventions, most people will wind up staying over at like a hotel, for example. Usually, it sounds about the same for like drinking or using alcohol. It's going to be at like the night times because mainly people want to be able to focus on a safer work environment whenever you're at cons of that kind of caliber.
I could imagine it would be horrible to try and walk around in a full-sized fursuit whilst being drunk.
Oh boy, it's hard for Axel when he's not. He doesn't drink, but just the fact that he has to walk in places can be very intense.
Yes, I imagine.
But you know, one of his favorite times is actually when it's winter. I went to MFF last year, which was over at, I don't remember the name of the state, but it was like really cold. It was like 20 degrees Fahrenheit, which I don't know in Celsius, but it's like really cold. It's cold. We were out at like a taco stand, like out in the cold. I didn't have my jacket or anything. I was somehow surviving, but Axel, he was in a suit. He was like, eh. Like, it's so warm for him. It's like really nice.
I bet. But imagine in this weather. Oh, imagine being in this weather and I couldn't.
Oh my gosh, no.
Like, there's my stuff alone. Like, obviously, you saw the pictures of my tunic and stuff, right? That's like really thin twill wool, right? And that is very hot. You would be so surprised how hot that can get. Like, it's thin. It is not a thick wool at all, but it is really, really warm. And I had to take it off at the last event because I was just getting too hot. And then you put a helmet on top of that, and sometimes chain, depending on if someone's got it, and then you add a shield to that. Yeah, the weather is not your friend.
My gosh.
The weather is not your friend.
You can't go out in fursuit in like really hot weather because the fur is, how do I say, polyester fiber. So if it goes out in the sun, it's going to melt. So you're gonna act like an ice cream, and then you're gonna be a fursuit, but without the fur. So that might be a problem.
You're gonna turn into just a giant plastic walking creature.
Yeah.
Basically.
If not that, then also there is legitimately like the safety risk of a heat stroke. So if you're in there and you have that, you don't want to be in a fursuit in like really hot weather. That is actually something that Axel's facing right now because he's over at Anthrocon, which is over at Pittsburgh, Pennsylvania. Right now, there's like 100 degrees
thunderstorm
Fahrenheit.
probably right now, right?
It would be good. It would be good for them.
I think there is one. Like I'd obviously did my weekly ritual on Friday, and some of the guys that lead and join that are from Pennsylvania, and they were like, "Oh, there's thunder coming. There's thunder coming." So hopefully for Axel, there's a cooler weather.
Hopefully,
a little bit at least.
Yeah. Do I initiate Doomsday and redeem 900 deep breaths? Hey Kindle, I have 9,000 candles. Sorry, I took just now to read this. If you want to, you can, but like if that happens, then that will be another stream. So just as FYI, that will be a long, deep breathing stream. It will be meditation. We sit down and then we hang out. Meditation world, nothing but several deep breaths.
Breathing stream.
Breathing stream. It's a guided meditation, essentially. Nick Tui, thank you for the work. It's very good to have you today, Nick Tui. But yes, meditation stream. That means I can do jump scares with my sound. What are you talking about, son? It's gonna be in the silent out world. Oh gee. But yeah, about 300 deep breaths. If you do 4-4-4, then essentially that is going to be about 30 minutes to an hour. So we would be in there for a long time if we had 300 deep breaths times 3. So that's like, oh boy, that's a long stream. Not necessarily a bad thing though, because I mean, some people, this is kind of underrated. Meditation winds up clearing out your mind a lot. So if you have a lot of stuff in your mind at the moment, if all you're doing is breathing, then the thoughts in your mind kind of go away because the goal is that you are focusing on that. And it feels like a whole bunch of chaotic like balls that are in your head. They start to calm and they're like very slow. It's very like really
It's a
relaxing.
weird experience. I used a meditation app a long time ago. I was like, oh, why not try it? You know, see if it works. You know, oh, you don't believe it. You know. And I sat down, put this meditation app on. It was guided. Sit there, and they're like, oh, take a deep breath in, hold it, let it go, and imagine all your thoughts. And you're like sitting there, and for a while you're like, what is this? And then you stop thinking that.
Yeah.
You stop thinking, what is this? You think, oh, this is nice. My brain stopped talking to me.
That's fun. I feel like that's a very fun thing to do because like the way that you did it actually is excellent. You have somebody talking to you and that becomes your center point. They recommend if you're doing meditation to have at least a center point. For me, like I will be using my breath as a center point, which makes it really challenging because then my brain wants to go in different places. But other people might focus on like a splotch on the wall or maybe a candle or something that's like at least one item to put a focus on, right? So once you do that, then your mind calms itself down because it's all it needs to think about in that moment. That's pretty much it.
It sounds silly, but it is very interesting how much it works.
Oh yeah. And like, I'll be honest, there's so many things that we put ourselves upon so many times each day. Like we wake up, we have to get ready for like work or school, and then we have to like get dressed and eat food and all that stuff and trickles then you go to work. You have like several different emails. You have several different messages on Slack. You have a call in like 10 minutes. What's going to happen, right? So that's like so many variables that are just out there. So being able to just take a minute and just you have just this one thing and that's it. It feels good. At least I hope hopefully in execution that's what it would be like. Oh goodness.
Sometimes you just need to stop thinking, you know?
Yeah. It happens. But then that way you can think better afterwards, because then you get like a mental reset.
Definitely. Yeah.
Oh. Dakota, hello! It's very good to see you today. Thanks for stopping by. Today we are talking to none other than Draknex.
It's me.
Yes, it's you. It's a robotics engineer and medieval reenactment extraordinaire. He's quite an exciting being, and we are going to be talking to him about all sorts of things, and you can too. You're more than welcome to ask any questions about who he is and what he does. It's going to be fun. Right now you feel like blah. Oh no. You fell down a flight of stairs or something. That's not good. No. Well, you know what? Welcome to Just Chatting ASMR. Just sit back, relax, have a good time. Ignore my body shaking like crazy. It'll be a good time. I thought you all were doing a react thing. So technically, yes, we could go jump over to the next slide. We are reacting to him, and then he is reacting to this, and then we react to that.
Put memes on the screen.
It's a continuous react loop per se. Oh my god, put memes on the screen. I feel like that would be people would go crazy for something like that. Gee whiz.
Probably, yeah. I mean, those videos exist, you know. People just watch memes and they're like, I just go to the next one.
Yeah.
Why do people make content like this? I've got Instagram. Just do it, you know.
Your brain hurts. That's not good. I hope you get some water or like ibuprofen or whatever you need. That's a question for folks. So like for people who like fix up their headaches, what do you guys do? Because like we have ibuprofen over where we live. There's also aspirin. There's also several other solutions. Like what do you guys do personally?
I just sit it out. Depends how bad it is.
That's
like
fair.
I sometimes I can just sit it out and do nothing, right? Oftentimes I'll just drink a bunch of water and that will solve the problem generally. Or sleep. But when it doesn't happen, like it's a hot day and my brain does not like hot days apparently, I've learned recently. I will probably take dissolvable paracetamol because I can't have pills.
Oh. I see.
Yeah.
That's rough.
It is rough, but it's okay. I've got my solution now.
That's good though. Lay down on the couch and sleep unless it's a pulsating migraine. I see. That makes sense. That can definitely help as long as you're able to find that rest. Let us see. Just making sure I'm like up to date with the chat. think we're good. All right, cool. But yeah, what we're talking about at the moment, this is all about medieval reenactment. We kind of jumped from robotics engineering. We'll get back to that in a moment, but we were just talking about like his experience with it and like what he does and some of the things that like happen both behind the scenes and actually over there. So to like summarize, I mean, he was just describing how, oh my gosh, he said a lot of different things, but it's a kind of like a coherent experience that allows people to get a part of that time while also being in their own modern day. If that maybe, does that summarize perhaps what
basically,
you were saying? Okay. Yeah, just making sure there. With that in context, let's see what else. Well, there would be something else. I closed questions.
Oh, goodness me.
Let me go pull that back up.
I'm gonna take this time to sip my drink while you're doing that.
Oh. Alright, let's put this back in here. Perfect.
You're doing the Michael Jackson. What is this?
I am. That is called the Xbox 360 Kinect.
Doesn't quite know what to do.
Oh, gee. Okay, so this is a question that like both my mind was thinking about, even though I didn't read it just now. It was actually going on that same path. So what I wanted to ask is, you've gone through several of these at this point, and based off of my data, it sounds like you've been doing it for at least, at minimum 2 years, but probably a little bit longer. Is that what I understand?
Yeah. Yeah, basically.
Okay. So within the scope of these past 2 years, how do you feel like it's been to, let's see, based on the experience you've had in this venture, what is something you've learned from combining like the old ways, which is from the medieval reenactment, to, I guess, the new ways, compared to like what you do now? Because it's interesting, you're both a robotics engineer and you go all the way back in time. So those are two very big extremes.
Two ends of the spectrum, yeah.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, I kind of like actually take a lot of things from the past and combine it with what I do modern day. Because there are some things that I believe personally, and we're getting into like a life advice territory here, which is very interesting, and I like that topic.
Yeah.
Not that I think I'm very good at it, but here we go. But there are some things that we can take from the past because I feel like overcorrect as a society for a lot of stuff. Like look at all of the diets we have now, and yeah, like a lot of them have reasons, a lot of them good, right? But for like the general average person, you can probably just like follow a diet more akin to what they used to have, and you'll probably be quite healthy. Because there's a whole like, people go vegan to try and reduce the meat consumption and animal product consumption, which is good. Like it does help the planet, and stuff like that. But in my opinion, I'm too attached to meat. Admittedly, I like meat. I like cheese.
Yeah.
So I'm never going to go vegan. But to reduce meat consumption is a great thing. Have it once a week, a couple times a month. Have beef Fridays, I don't know, something like that. Steak Saturday.
Yeah.
Because in the past, people couldn't afford meat as much. It was a rich people thing because it took a long time to raise cows and pigs and sheep, and to eat their meat was a lot of money, and only the rich people could do that. So people, you eat stuff less commonly, but you still eat it. And people didn't really have that kind of problem back then, but we can also mix it with the modern knowledge that we have of modern times and continue to eat well, i.e. can have citrus so you don't get scurvy, and stuff like that. And it's just sort of that mix of trying to find the best from both worlds that I find quite fascinating about this sort of venture, because I think we overlook a lot of stuff from the past that could be very helpful for us now.
That makes a lot of sense. I liked hearing a lot of that stuff. One of the things that I remember like looking into a while back is just holistic diets, if that makes sense, right? So not going like overly processed, which admittedly as an American, that is something that like I could do better at. But when it comes down to how food is like prepared, some of the best that you can get out there is just stuff that's using ingredients in their more raw form, right? Because if you combine, I did an experiment with coffee and caffeine before, where it's like, okay, how do you combine everything together? Do you have coffee in a more holistic form, or do you extract little bits and pieces to make it like a better solution or whatnot? But at least from what it felt like, at least in my own mind, because I have caffeine sensitivity, it seemed like the more natural that you apply things together in their original form, the more like it's less like jarring for the body. Like it just feels...
Probably a slower release of caffeine, rather than just having caffeine injected into whatever you're consuming. It's probably an actual slow release that comes from your body digesting the coffee.
Yes. That's probably spot on right there, because I think about a Monster Energy drink, for example. You chug that thing in, and it gives you a jolt of like energy in, but then it tries to like throw itself up outwards later, and it feels like sometimes I'll get like a headache or just a whole bunch of anxiety later, being transparent. So it's wild to think about. Like, you're right, it probably makes sense to have holistic food, ensuring that you have all the rounded things. Obviously, if you have the access to meat, it's good to have access to meat, so it's good to have all of that in there.
Yeah, definitely. It's just kind of about, like, I mean, we existed for millions of years, or probably a million years, I don't know the timeline, before processed food. And I feel like we're probably going to try and overcorrect, as a lot of, people and things do, by putting another Band-Aid on top of another Band-Aid on top of another Band-Aid. And now we've got Ozempic, and it just exacerbates the problem. Where we could just, be eating better food.
Right.
And more normal, natural food, And I get, obviously, there's things in modern day which cause that to be an issue. I understand that, you've got to work within your means. But I think sometimes there could be more thought involved in dietary choices and just general life choices that we had solved hundreds of years ago.
Yup. And like, you tumbled it right into the spot that I was thinking about too, because when it comes down to just thinking about it from a historical standpoint, there's a lot of stories that it sounds like that you've like interpreted and understood that like can like tell us more about what we could do here. And like, I'll be realistic with you. I feel like, as somebody who like really didn't like reading history when I was a kid, that's kind of dangerous, because if people don't understand what happened like a long time ago, then how are we going to wind up making progress for what we want to do now, right? So we don't.
I think that's kind of a lot of why people learn about history generally, is because, should learn about history, is to see where we've come from, to understand where we're going. Because if we've made a mistake in the past, we can look at the past and say, "Oh, I don't want to do that. Stay far away." But if you don't learn that, you're just gonna make a mistake again.
Right. Also, I know it's probably late. Dakota, you're probably gone, but goodbye. Thank you for stopping by for a little bit. Similar to steampunk vibes. He even has his thriller cap on. Oh no, he does. Yes, he's got that right there.
Yes, the nice old flat cap. They've got a good bit of history to them.
Oh.
It is great. We basically, I think, oh gosh, when was it? I think it might be maybe 1600s, or maybe 1400s. Basically, English wool trade was not doing very well, so the king was like, "You've all got to wear this cap on a Sunday." And so everyone had to go out and buy this cap or pay a fine. And so everyone had one of those caps, and it basically became part of English lifestyle.
Wow, that is interesting.
That's why I was associated with this.
Wow, I just thought it was a nice hat.
Yeah, it is a nice hat. I like them. They're sort of rural. It reflects my background. Even though I'm not a farmer, but I come from a very proudly rural place in the UK. So.
That so works out. And you know what? There was a question after this, but you know what? I have... Let's see. I think to roll into that, I feel like we should jump right over to one of the other ones. Is it? It's somewhere in here. I gotta go in slow motion. Aha! So it was question number 10. So, a while back, I remember you sharing a walk from your house to the school. How often do you wind up walking on a day-to-day? So that's more of a question about like the environment that you're in, because there's various different types of transportation here in America. Like, for example, just cars are our main thing in the metropolitan spaces. There's also trains, several different networks of those in different places like Chile. So, at least on your end, it sounded like you do plenty of walking from your place, but
I do.
how often do you walk personally?
So, if obviously not including work days, because I kind of just drive to work and drive home again. If I have free time, like I will tomorrow, I'm very happy about it. I walk quite a lot. I can check how many steps I did the other day because I did quite a bit of walking. But it's quite common that I do walk. Obviously, I went to the US October last year, and my girlfriend had to drive me everywhere because the stroads are horrible. They're pretty bad, and yeah, I was not going to be walking anywhere in the US when I visited. I'm trying to find how many steps I did the other day. See if I can find it.
That's actually a really interesting question. I'll ask that next. Sorry.
2,000. No, that was not yesterday. I have been known to do 30,000 steps in a day. But that was a long... that was a big walk, to be fair. But I can probably be up to 10,000 roughly, and that's like a walk into town. It's about 45 minutes just to get there, and then you walk around, and then you walk home again. I walk quite a lot. My town is sort of like, imagine a city, but there's no tall building. There's like maybe one, and it's a lot smaller. So like, and I'm talking about like British city here, like not American roads through the middle of a city, but like there are some roads, but they're crossable.
Yeah.
And they're winding. They're not block based. And I don't know why I'm trying to explain this. It's not very helpful if you've honestly been, but it's it's basically a small city where I live. So we've got a lot of stuff within an hour of walking. So if there's somewhere within an hour, I will walk there.
Yeah.
I went to get my hair cut a couple weeks ago, and my normal hairdresser was he broke his wrist or something, so I had to go to a different one of the same chain, and it was about an hour walk, and I was like, yeah, why not, I'm gonna walk it. So I walked it, and it was a long walk, but I enjoyed it. I enjoy walking.
That's awesome.
It was good for the body, good for the soul, good for the soul.
You know, that's a very fascinating contrast to hear, which I honestly am kind of jealous of, in the sense of like, you get a lot of good exercise for this. Like, when I think about it, where I live, I can't go anywhere with a car. Like, it's crazy. When you describe that, like, yeah, the roads are crazy out there, that may be a follow-up question for like your place. But just the point being, like, it's hard to walk anywhere in a metropolitan area. And even if you're like in some place like New York City or another big city, like even if you have those walking places, it's like not going to be anything like probably the place that you're at, because you don't have fresh air, you don't have trees. It's completely different. Like, it's very like, you've got some good stuff there. I think
you'd find if you came to my hometown, you would probably be very confused that it's like we've got a population of about 110 to 120,000 people. And we are one of the forest cities of the world, which is, as it's been put, where they've got very strict guidelines on like how many trees you've got to plant and having tree wardens and stuff. There's trees everywhere. There's trees absolutely everywhere. Apparently what I heard was that based on some metric, London could be classed as a forest if it weren't a city. There's that many trees in London.
That's amazing.
Yeah, no, I feel for people like obviously you, my partner, you know, pretty much Americans is what I'm saying, where the cities and even rural areas, not even like semi-urban areas, they're not good for walking. You've got to drive. Like the streets are like 3 lanes wide, and you think, I don't think our A roads, which are like the big, they're like sort of arterial roads, but they're not quite highways. They're like 2 lanes at most, maybe sometimes 3, rarely. And we've got like a couple of those in my large area. You know, like obviously you've got counties, you know, sort of how big a county is. We've got like no highways in mine, but that's because we're quite in the middle of nowhere, and there's no reason to have one.
Yeah.
But we've got a couple of A roads, which are arterial roads, but not quite as like, they're not meant to be as like free flowing and stuff as a highway or an M road over here, a motorway. And they're like 3 lanes at most sometimes. You guys have got like streets that are like that in the middle of the city, and that blew my mind when I went to the US. That was insane to me.
Oh yeah, no, I've seen some highways that go up to like 5 or 6 lanes at the same time, and it's like, vroom, there's a ton of different cars all at once.
I had to go through Atlanta, and that was something else. I'm so glad that my partner is so brave.
Dude, oh my god, that was gonna be my question, because like, I was like, were you in a city? I know exactly what you're talking about, because I went to Atlanta, Georgia for a con once, and it's like, what the flip, man? It is like ridiculous. So, no, I know exactly what you're talking about. That place, especially when it's like really like crowded, it's insane, and sometimes things just go down slow to a crawl, which is like impossible.
Yeah.
I hate it.
My girlfriend was absolutely insistent that we basically get in her car and leave the area as soon as possible because she absolutely hates it in Atlanta. And I completely understand why now that I've seen it. And obviously I see a lot of videos on YouTube, and they're like, oh, why is driving so bad now? And there are always people from Atlanta.
Yeah.
Every single person, no matter where they come from, actually. There's people from like Texas and stuff, and they're like, I will never drive in Atlanta. It's so bad.
Yeah, that sounds like the storm child for it. That's so wild that you got to go over to Atlanta too. That's like, you never know how many people you probably have like either crossed paths across different time frames, right? Because like I was there at one point. I'm sure you definitely were. So imagine like how many other people like cross country or cross state have like gone through all that. It's insane. Oh goodness.
Yeah, no, it's nuts.
Yeah, no, I'm sorry you had to go through that, because I remember going through that too. That wasn't fun.
It's all good. I had my partner to deal with it. I kind of just sat in the back and had my headphones on.
I get it. Oh my gosh. Oh gee. So that's a very interesting contrast. I'd say overall that was very insightful, because like from where he is, I feel like that's really good. You have good walking distance for things. You can get a lot of steps in if you need to. You have good fresh air in that process. The fact for us, like where I live, you can go to like a dedicated space for a park, and then you can hang out there for a while. But like the whole thing for you, I like it a lot because you're okay. Let's stack a couple of things. You have holistic food, holistic walking. You have the ability to talk to your neighbors and everything like that. Like it's a good space. You're able to be very healthy in a space like that. Overall, like it's good for the mind. It's good for social. It's good for the body. So like you're in a good spot, man. That's really awesome.
Yes. Yeah. No, it is great. I don't think I'd ever want to move away from here. I know at some point I'll obviously move from specifically where I am, as much as I absolutely love this neighborhood. The area I'm in, but I'm gonna have to move closer to my work at some point, probably into an apartment because of housing. But I don't want to leave the county I'm in because I respect the values of what we have here.
Yes. No, that totally makes sense.
It's so good for the mental health.
I like that, man. That's awesome. Let's see. Okay. We talked a lot about medieval reenactment, where he lives, what he likes to do so far. So let's see if we can jump into a couple of fun questions, because we haven't done any of those just yet.
Here we go.
Let's see. All right. So, here's a new question for you. You are designing a Drox certified sandwich. What needs to go on it, sir?
It can't be too dry. I don't like dry food.
Yeah.
I have big problems. And stringy food as well. Don't like stringy food. Mental health issues. I can go into that, but I won't right now because I've got the question. So it's got to have a lot of sauce. I like sauce in my sandwich.
Ooh.
I like a bit of crunch in my sandwich. There's a thing we do here, and you probably maybe discovered it online. Crisp sandwiches, i.e. putting chips, by American words, into the sandwich.
Yeah.
It's great. I love it. I had coleslaw in a sandwich too. I'm not really picky on my sandwiches, as long as it's normally generally got good crunch, a lot of sauce, and some sort of flavor. I'll consume the thing. I'll probably inhale it, to be honest with you.
That's fun. You know, when
I told you.
You said something.
You go.
We were talking so much about like how this interview process was gonna go through, and when you said crisps, it made me laugh so hard internally because like you're talking, you said some big authority. I don't know if it was like a pope or somebody who had their final interview question is like, "What are your favorite crisps?"
Prime Minister. Yeah.
Prime Minister. Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh gee, it was so funny.
Do you remember what the flavor was? Because I made sure I told you.
What was it? Vinegar? Was it that?
No.
No?
It's a funny word that no one can say if they're not from this country.
Oh, okay. Then I don't know if I remember then.
You don't. Oh, disappointed in you. I told you to remember it. I told you to remember it.
Apologies.
Can't give it away now. Can't give it away. I'm still trying to train up my partner to make sure she can say it just for the fun of it.
I hear you.
She can go back to the US and just like, throw people off.
No, I just thought that was funny because considering the question and sandwiches and you combine all that, it's like, oh no, he's got an ulterior motive. He's gonna put it in a sandwich. This certified prime minister ingredient for a sandwich.
Yes, yeah, honestly. There was a whole section where he was like, I think someone brought up a picture that was taken of him when he was like on his way from a shop or something. And he was holding like a tango and a bag of, I think it was probably salt and vinegar crisps or something like that. And he was like, oh, I was carrying them for my son. I was bringing them back home for my son. I don't like tango.
Oh.
Like that. That's the word, yeah. Oh, it's you again. My friend has joined the stream as a chat.
Oh, hi there. It's very good to see you. Very good to meet you, Peach 2003. Worcestershire. Oh yeah, Worcestershire.
Ooh, we're close.
Over here we call it Worcestershire.
I'm quite impressed. Yeah, it's pretty good. It's pretty good.
I did.
Yeah. No, I think.
Oh, go ahead.
The sandwich that I've been making recently, that I've really been enjoying, is a sunny side up egg. Right. I make a sunny side up egg. We are very impressed with our sunny side up eggs. If you do it wrong, you're banned from the country. You can't get your citizenship if you don't make one. But you put like some spices in mayonnaise. I think it's normally for me paprika, chili flakes, and black pepper. And I put them in mayonnaise, and I spread it on the bread, and I put the sunny side up egg, all three, into the sandwich, and it's just brilliant.
Ah, that sounds
absolutely
nice.
Incredible.
Got all the spices.
It's really.
Also, Peach, thank you for the follow. Oh my gosh. No, that sounds good. I like that kind of thing. I feel like spices are very like underrated when it comes to putting together like a sandwich.
Oh yeah.
Cause like what's it? Whenever I do like a chicken sandwich, for example, I'll combine a lot of different things and I'll go, oh, okay, well, let's add some garlic Italian seasoning. Let's add maybe my brain's going blank. I'll add some like red hot pepper-ish kind of spice as well. So it's always fun to kind of hear those different spices because then you can really customize your sandwich. It's good.
Absolutely. Make some good food.
Yeah. How are you doing today, Peach 2003? It's very good to have you here. You're more than welcome to staying here. You're always welcome to ask him questions, although you probably know him more than I do.
Yes.
Oh goodness. So then, we asked the sandwich question. Let's also find another fun question after that, because we asked a lot of very big, deep questions. Okay, no. Sub question. So we talked about sandwiches, but now I need to ask. No pressure or anything. But is a hot dog a sandwich?
No.
It's not a sandwich.
No.
Interesting. And why would that be so?
It's got bread, but the bread is a roll, and therefore it's not a sandwich.
that
See,
makes sense.
I know you guys call burger sandwiches,
Uh,
right? Sometimes, depending on probably the region, I don't really know. We don't do that. And it's very simple.
Going to be a very
Don't call
delayed
burger
message.
sandwiches because they're not.
Doing well, just tired. LMAO. Sleep schedule is for numptiness. Oh no! Hi, Kyber. Guess what you got? What'd you get? You call burgers burgers? I mean, no. What? Kyber. Okay, Kyber. You need a history lesson, young man. So, a long time ago, you ever hear of a place called Louis' Lunch? Louis' Lunch is one of the first places on this earth to sell something called none other than the hamburger sandwich. Hamburger sandwich was the start of our hamburgers. So by having that kind of history, hamburger is a sandwich, my friend. Busted!
That's a fair call. That's a fair call.
A Segway Go-Kart Pro. I'm guessing that's GoPro? Is it a GoPro or an actual go-kart? That's interesting. Cool either way. A hot dog isn't a sandwich, it's a roll. Oh my gosh, you guys are on the same wavelength.
Correct. Yeah, we're British. We have like 200 different words for what a bread roll is called across the UK.
Oh my goodness.
It's maybe not that much, but we've got a lot. You know, we've got bap, butty, roll, bun. Oh god, there's another one as well. I don't remember what it is. Cob is another one.
Cob.
There's various different words from various different regions of the UK for a bread roll.
Whoa. Okay, you said something interesting there. You said cob. So, I don't know if there's a connection there. Maybe this is a silly coincidence, but we have something called corn on the cob. Is there any relation at all? No?
I cannot confirm or deny, I have no idea.
Okay. No, I thought that was interesting. So, it feels like there's some kind of origin somewhere. I want to go to a dictionary
There
later.
might be.
Yeah.
There might be. I'll have to have a look.
Yeah, that is fascinating. Very well, much impressed, Kyber. Oh my goodness, I got it on a trade. Those things are worth at least $700 to $1,000. So, was that actually a go-kart? Holy cow, man! What
Mine
the
bots are
flip?
kind of cool. I rode one a while ago.
They're fun. I really like them.
They are fun. I've got a video of my dad crashing on one.
Oh boy.
Brilliant.
I haven't done go-karts in a while, but then the last time that I heard one, I was actually surprised, because I was a small kid. It sounds like when you turn one on, it's like a tractor, which was surprising to me. It's like you turn it on, it's like a lawn, not a tractor, but like a lawnmower. It's like you go maybe that's just what ours are. There might be more expensive go-karts that are not like in, what's it?
I think that one might be an electric one that's being mentioned in chat. Yeah, because the 9 bots are like one-wheelers, basically.
Yeah.
And you sort of like stand on things either side and have a seat in the middle, and they are really, really, really cool.
That is cool.
I think it's probably based off that.
Cob, aka another word for bread, is a term for Old English which means a rounded lump. Okay.
That might explain it. That makes sense.
That does make sense, because if you have a corn on the cob, you're kind of like rounding it out, right? Like, at least for us, we have a couple of steaks that we stick into it, but you could slice these things, right? You can slice them in half, and so it kind of rounds it out. Yeah, rounded lump. Yeah, because a cob
Makes
is...
sense, makes sense.
Yes, okay. Thank you for looking that up. That's actually really useful. You said... Okay, well, I'm going to have to use this now, because you said a roll is like also a bap.
Yes.
Oh my God.
It really depends on the region you come from. What is probably little known about the UK is that we have so many different dialects and accents that generally, obviously, to American ears are crushed down to British. Which, fair enough, I can distinguish from most American accents. Like, you could probably listen to someone say, oh, you're from New Jersey, and it's like,
Yup.
how the heck did you know that, you know? Here, again, like, we have, I know Peach has quite a bit of Suffolk, where we're from, influence in the accent. I've got a bit as well, but mine's less so. People from, like, the county below us, like, very close will have a completely different accent. You could go through so many different villages with so many different cultures on an hour trip. It's kind of insane, and a lot of people don't know that until they come here.
Yeah, that is interesting, huh? I like thinking about that, because like it's something where blanket statements about like where you would imagine something would be are not strong enough to really describe like how rich of a culture you guys have over there, regardless of where you are. Like just the small nuances like that, I love hearing, because it's like you get a unique experience each time that you pay a visit to some place, and that adds to a very big story as to like why things are the way they are, which is exactly why you got into medieval reenactment, right? So
exactly, so yeah,
so fascinating. Let's see here. We covered a couple of fun questions, and let's see, what did we cover so far? Okay, so this one's kind of a silly question. I don't know if like this has ever crossed your mind, but I'll ask it genuinely. This might be a bit confusing. Do you think you'll ever wind up combining any of the core concepts used in robotics engineering with the medieval reenactment side? This is a weird one, I know. So
it is an interesting one, actually. It's quite hard to say. Like, there's a project I want to work on which does involve kind of a bit of both. It's more electronics and old styles of things, right? It's probably the closest I've got to that. So it was going to be it's going to be an alarm clock, right? Which is obviously electronics, but instead of having like a digital dial on the front, it's going to have a sundial on the top, which tells you in real time, but it's based on sundial mechanics rather than normal clock stuff, you know.
Yeah.
And it was gonna, you could have it quite smart. I was considering having it be like powered by a Raspberry Pi, so it could be like a home assistance center, but I don't really do smart home stuff. That kind of stuff, and it's just the electronics and engineering of that combined with the past technologies and aesthetics of a sundial and the aesthetic that I want to build it around as well, which is based on wood and stuff like that, which is probably the closest I've got, to be honest, but it's quite hard to combine the two eras.
Right. No, that's valid though. Like, I like how it's being perceived too, because it's like you want to kind of respect the original kind of way to record the time, but at the same time there's a strong spin that what we have now, since we have focused so much on the technological aspect, that it can be both an art piece and something that's actually really practical. I think that's a really neat idea.
Yeah. I'm yet to put it into practice, but I have my ideas.
Oh yeah. That's still cool though, because like I kind of wondered if something like that happened, because again, like this guy is practicing two different eras of time right now. So the fact that is happening right now in his brain already, I like hearing this so much, because that means he's able to create. Like that's what creativity is, man. You get through your experiences, you put the pieces that you love together, and you create a solution that's truly your own. So that's really cool, man. It's excellent.
Thank you. Yeah. I just need to wait for the money, and then I can do it.
Yeah? You got this. You can do it. And in fact, you know what? Let's take a break. Let's talk about this guy over here. What exactly
My child.
was his, yes, your child. What exactly did he do, and what was his purpose?
To get me my grade.
Okay. Oh goodness. Hi, Goal. It's good to see you, buddy. Hopefully you're doing okay today. How are you doing? Did you have a good July 4th and all that? Also, apologies. Continue.
I was gonna say, it's a very sweet thing. Thank you for saying that. I don't know if you use real names on thingy, but you know who you are. Right, so...
Oh, I just saw that, yeah.
Robot. Yes, so this robot, basically, in my degree, in the third year, which is your final year, or fourth if you're doing a placement year or something, but in the last year, like a lot of things, you have to do a big project / thesis or dissertation. And for mine, initially, I was pitched to the person who was running everything, or the guy who was running this sort of small group of students. I was like, I'm going to make a metal detecting robot that runs around and he finds the arrows for me that I shoot and inevitably lose in the archery field. And they liked that idea. He's like, that's really cool. We've got another student that's making a drone. Can you make it a drone? I said, probably.
Interesting.
So I worked with her and we sort of discussing that, and it came December time and we'd still not got any of the component. And so I was like, what's going on? Why have I not got any of the components? I can't do the work if I don't have the components. I literally had the coils. That was all I had. Because I could make those. And then I was getting emails, talking to the guy, and eventually it came to that I was not going to be able to do this because of weight limitations, UK law, university limitations, things like that. Budget, it just wasn't going to happen.
Yeah.
So I basically then had 4 months to start the project from scratch. And so they, instead of giving me a drone, gave me basically the body of the car, which you see there with the, they have the wheels, the batteries, the control stuff on it. All I had to do was add my robotic bits to the front, all the rubbish wires to the back, and all the code. I had the microcontroller on as well. And in essence, it didn't quite work. I proved that I could do everything it wanted to do, but I ran into some limitations, such as it being here we go with the robotics knowledge that I've already lost. Ackerman steering. It's an Ackerman steering type robot, so it's basically a car, which is hard to control and navigate for because you've got to use like Dubin path or something, which is mathematics, and I couldn't be asked to do it, not in the months I had. The metal detectors weren't quite there. They weren't very strong and weren't really a good type for this, but it was fine. And what happened was that on the day before the presentation to the public, we had to open to the public and present stuff, I was like showing some of the people in the room at a robotics arena in our university. And I was like, yeah, this is what it does. And I put it down. And I pointed, the light on the back, it should be off. It's not off.
Oh.
I lifted the robot up, and the light turned off. And I put it down, the light turned on. I'm like,
what? Interesting.
Floor here made out of metal. Right? I was really confused. So I spoke to the lab technicians, and they were like, yeah, so at one point, probably about a decade or two ago, we had the world's largest wireless charging room for robotics.
Whoa.
So the floor had a bunch of copper coils beneath it. And so I could not demonstrate the robot. Except I could drive it around and stuff, and I've got videos. I probably should have sent to you all that. I probably did send them to you a while ago, but I managed to get it driving. I managed to get it detecting metal, and the application as well, the software, which is what I displayed on my computer, and that was kind of all I had to display. And that was kind of it. That was his purpose, and then he got scrapped. Very sad about it.
That is unfortunate.
Rest in peace.
Oh, he's such a beautiful child. I love him so much.
He is. I wish I gave him a haircut, but so many whys.
Well, here's a spin that we can throw on it. So you mentioned that it was very hard to get his purpose going, but what I think about more specifically is you did something that is quite interesting. You engineered. So just because that the process was very difficult to get going doesn't mean that you didn't learn something. So really, my question for you, which is a follow-up, this is not scripted anywhere, but from an engineer to another, what are some of the things that you feel like that you were able to get out of it versus if you didn't do it at all in the first place?
Feeling of grief for an inanimate object is definitely one of them. I miss it so much. Look at him. He's so cute. Like he wasn't big. He was like that big. Aww. Very heavy though. He was a hefty child. Sorry, repeat that again. What did I get from it?
Yeah, so like when we went from start to finish. You didn't just magically poof a robot into existence. Like I would love that for that to happen, right? Just
yes,
there's my guy. He's amazing. But no, you kind of have to. The thing is, when you do engineering, you got to do the work.
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
Based off of that work, I mean, what kind of things do you feel like you learned out of it versus if you didn't do the work in the first place?
The bureaucracy sucks.
What?
Having to fight the laws of the country and the laws of the university and budget constraints really put a damper on this thing and took about 3-4 months off of development time that I could have had. So it took like half of the development time off, which really sucked. I could have gotten working, I'm fairly certain. I was close. I had enough to show off that it worked. But yeah, so there was that. But the kind of bodge fixes and stuff that I had to make it work, I don't know if you noticed, but there is paper.
Oh.
There.
Yeah.
Did you see that?
I can see that
So
now, yeah.
I designed it to be friction fit, but I don't use the 3D printers that my university has. So I didn't design it for friction fit very well. Guess what didn't happen?
Oh.
Didn't friction fit. So I shoved paper in.
Yeah.
And also trying to figure out how to get this car to work with the system that I had and was going to use was also a nightmare. I decided to scrap C and just use MicroPython because the microcontroller I was using supported it.
Yeah.
So it was just various different tools. How to wire things neatly is definitely not one of the things I learned. Just general problem solving, like most of the problems were software based.
Yeah.
Trying to get it to move at the right speed in a straight line and it played songs, it played little tunes at various points as well. It was cute. Well, I like it so much. Yeah, and then, it's just figuring out all the problems and solutions for those problems was like some of the main things. And that's kind of what you get doing engineering. You get given a problem and then you make more problems.
Yep. I believe that. I'm
sure
glad.
You know all too well.
Oh boy. Well, that's the thing. That's the whole point for building software too. Is just like you build a product, but then the product has more things that could be expanded upon, and then you have stakeholders that are like, "But what if you could do this thing?" And go,
No. Absolutely
so
not.
It takes a minute, so it's a lot of a process. But I wanted to say that because engineering is a lot of work. I think that's not an understatement to be saying, but I feel like there's a lot of respect for somebody who wants to be able to figure out how things work. But to get through it, he just told about all the things that were frustrating or big pain points. But he can use this knowledge in the future to be able to apply things more accurately and more efficiently. And even if not that, let's say he runs into this kind of paper problem again, or if he runs into using copper wires again. It's like, oh, generally speaking, I know how this works, and then I can apply this material in such a way, and I go, oh, wait a minute. I remembered from this project that it behaved in such a way, right? So I wanted to say that because he didn't just not do anything, right? This is his boy.
Yeah.
This is what he learned, and whether or not it was difficult to get the quest done for what he actually did, he achieved something really, really cool, which is learning the craft. And that is the thing that makes an engineer. It is very awesome to hear that you did that, sir.
Yes. It is acquiring the knowledge via the process, really. And I will know various Python libraries, and I will know a microcontroller that I will probably use in the future because they're cheap and really good. Stuff like that, and just how to solve different problems and look up maths, and I'll never write a dissertation ever again.
Fair enough.
Oh, so much stress, man. So much stress.
Oh, man. And yet you made it to the other side, which, congratulations. That's really cool, man.
Thank you. It was a process. A long one.
Oh, yeah. Okay, so this does bring up to a question. I don't have it with me at the moment, but I know it's in there. My question for you is, because I don't like math, it sounds like you don't like it either, but should you have to consume the pill, how much math do you realistically have to use for the type of engineering that you do?
A lot of stuff nowadays, you can generally find libraries to do it for you. So a lot of it, you don't really need to do a lot. But The problem is that for various things, you want to know how it works so you can adjust it well. You might just want to learn how to code it, and so, you kind of do have to learn.
Yeah.
With my specific course, I had to learn about forward kinematics, reverse kinematics, Jacobian matrices, and all this rubbish that I'll probably never use because I will not have to build a robotics controller, to my knowledge, ever. But, it's interesting to know how these things are calculated. And when I was making this, I had to write about Dubin's path, or I didn't have to, but I wrote about Dubin's path because it's the way that cars, autonomous driving cars and car-based robots that can't just turn on the spot have to drive, and it's based on circles and tangents and lots of maths that
Yeah.
It's good to learn about that kind of stuff.
I think that makes sense. The way that you said it screams to me like the current era that we're in, because it's so easy for us to set up an API and just say, hey, let's just go do it. But then what if the API doesn't do what you needed to do and it's full, right?
Yes.
To the degree that you're learning the math in this case, quite literally the kind of mathematics that are required to get your job done, it tells me that still being able to get that craft in regardless is going to be crucial, because then you can wield the sword better per se once you actually get to the place that you need to go.
Yeah, you should know about the stuff that you're using, really. You could quite easily chuck a PID controller into a project, right? You probably don't know what a PID controller is. I don't really know. No. So imagine you've got a pool of water, like a swimming pool, right? Oh my goodness me, why am I moving?
Oh, couch.
You've got a pool, You've got a pool of water. You're trying to heat up or cool down to keep it a certain temperature, right? Or a car that follows a line. You need a controller to keep it on the line or keep it at the right temperature, right? Because, you could just ramp it up or steer it as it goes off course. But you don't know how quickly or slowly it's going to react. Like a pool of water, to heat that up, is going to be really slow to react if you then turn the heating off and then it cools down. You've got to turn it back on and heat it up again. So what we do is introduce two variables to keep it in line with the value. So there's one that keeps it from just being level with the value you want it to be. And the other one tries to adjust for changes. So if it looks like let's say you've got a car steering along a line, if it looks like it's hit a bump and it's going to go like that, then it adjusts the value to try and not let it have a massive overcorrection. And trying to understand how that works and program that is something I love doing, actually. That's the one bit of maths that I actually really enjoy, probably because it's simple, looks complicated. And I've programmed several PID controllers for fan speed is a good one, taking the flow rate through a sensor to turn and trying to change the fan speed to try and keep it a certain flow rate.
Yeah.
That's a really good one. And steering on this car as well. That's one I tried to do.
Huh. I would have never thought about something like that, having a sensor in a fan. But that does make sense depending on what kind of environment that you're in, right? So if you need to be at a certain speed, then you have to have a certain amount of force to be able to thrust it forward. But that sounds it's one of those things where people probably don't think about that, but that makes a ton of sense.
Yeah, exactly. There are little bits that you learn in engineering, and it's the same for you in software. You don't realize go into these kind of things, and that's kind of why experience and education matters in our fields, because you learn about the little bits and the maths behind it sometimes that go into it, the processes and how you look at things and how you research things, and eventually you just learn to pick it up.
Right. No, that makes a ton of sense. You need to have that, and the more that you do it, the more that you'll be able to make stronger strokes as you continue that process. So it makes a ton of sense there.
Yeah, we spoke about this sort of before about problem solving and how you do that, right? We spoke about it last week, and how I solved various problems with whatever I had on hand. But if there's a question about that, I won't speak about it because I'll leave it to you.
It's all good. It's all good. We'll actually have like a couple videos that we wanted to share because we had some that you gave over to me in like Discord, so we can play a couple of those. I kind of want to see personally what your description is on those, so we can kind of get an idea of like what's actually going on.
Right. Assuming you're going to go for the robotics one first, right?
Yeah, I think.
Given we're on the subject.
Yeah.
So if you want to, you know, there's a picture of the little model. If you get that first. No, actually, no, the video first. No, there's a picture of the big one that I asked you to censor. That'll do first. We'll start at the end.
Okay. So I think
That's how engineering works.
I've got.
We start at the end point to work towards.
I've got a video on here, which I actually regret because there's actually. I would love to have brought up the video of this car actually moving around. I didn't get to actually put that one in there. But let's try this. That's the wrong one. We will do this one instead. There we go. So I think it's this one, right? Oh, definitely not that. Sorry, there's like a 10-second delay.
That's very robotics looking, yeah. There's a tractor in the background.
Came into Kindle braking. Hi, Joker! Yes, I broke. I had to flip the slide. Yeah, so this video is a little bit choppy. I don't know why it is on my computer, but what exactly is going on with this one in particular?
So, this is basically a prototype version of a model I was asked to make. So me and another colleague before he left, we were asked that we make a model of one of our products for an electronics show in Germany. Because they've got a massive hall venue, and you basically hire out. It's basically a business conference, and you go to it, and there's companies that do their sales stuff. And we needed one of these demos to sort of show off what our products do, even, and how they work. So that video was basically a prototype of an interactive model that they could use at the show. So there was a bigger image in the slideshow, I believe. I'm assuming you put it in there, the one I asked you to censor off?
Yeah, I think that's like the first image. How are you doing today, Joker? It's very good to have you here. Oh my goodness. Did you have a good July 4th? Did you get to see fireworks and all that stuff? I think the image is going to be like right here. Yes. All right. It'll pop up in a minute. We're skipping through. See what's weird? The slideshow is like 60 frames a second, but like the video was not. So I was like, what the heck? I don't understand.
Yeah. Right. Yeah. So this here is basically there was a bottom base section as well, but this is the main mechanical bit.
Yeah.
Or electronics bit of the model. So what we had is we have some rings around here, and they are just like representative of a force in the product. You've got a section in the middle which is kind of one part of our product and how it works. And these two are actuated together, so they open and close. They had LEDs inside them that show the flow of electricity, and then obviously you've got all the electronics in there as well. Yeah. And this was eventually the final model that made it out to Germany. It had some problems, and I noticed it. It really annoys me, but it's my colleague's fault. I'm blaming him. But this is the final sort of thing that shows basically it's a cutout of the products, obviously. And that's the sort of thing I really enjoyed doing. That sort of like giant models. I'm actually making some right now, but they're not functional of any sort. And this was the final thing of what we made and what we ended up with. But the sort of way we got there was through a lot of trial and error of various new 3D printers at the time, and because it was massive, we couldn't fit it all on one, and how to get the copper stuff the right color and get it all move. It was a process for something that's not all that complicated in vision.
Yeah.
Like we experimented with a lot of stuff and tried a lot of things. And it worked okay. People are happy. Like, they were pretty happy with it. It worked. I'm not, because I know what's wrong with it. But
right,
you know.
Oh, it's so.
And then if you've got
Oh, go ahead.
Yeah. So if you've got the other picture, I'll ask you to change it one more time. The little model.
Little mo. I
You know
can
what I mean?
look. I can look. Also,
I did see it in there earlier. It was just a little one.
Okay.
It was like white.
It might be or later inside the presentations. Let's look. It might be this guy. Yes, Joker. I'm not. Sometimes I have to defy the laws of physics in order to do things like slideshows. I apologize.
Not that one. No, it looked similar. So it had two little bits, and I think it still had a copper foil thing, and it was sort of like a box, like a small, tiny little box.
Okay.
But obviously with the top and front cover.
Let's look again then. If you saw it earlier, my guess is.
Pretty sure it's silver. Yeah.
Dun, 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 dun. It's probably somewhere after this. Is it this one? There's like a handful of these. I'm sorry. Let's look. Oh wow. There's a lot in here.
No, not that one.
None of these. Okay.
Not that one. Nope.
Okay. I
What's
found
that?
it. I found it. I think. Is it this one?
You do have a lot of these pictures, don't you? Yes, that one.
Yeah. Okay. Good.
Okay, that one is the final main model, but it was the one before that I was looking for. But this is fine. This is basically what it ended up being. Kind of. This is another version of it. But this is another good look at like what it was, and you can see for scale how big it was and why I had struggled with 3D printers. You can see it up there. Do you see it until the power supply?
Oh, that thing.
Yes.
Okay. Yes.
Yeah. But like this was the tiny little version of this pretty much, which I used to prototype to the marketing department who pretty much commissioned it.
Right.
To say this is the idea that I have given to you, and then we turned it into this, which had LEDs in the rings and in the sticky bits, and you know the servo actuation and stuff like that.
Right.
But this is sort of like demoing how the process goes in engineering. Is you've got to have prototypes that are very small and simple, and then you upscale them to something. I think there was an image of the video. The video was just basically the one-up of like showing how it could look with the electronics, and then we build the big thing, which is the final thing. And then obviously you get some feedback and stuff on it.
I love that. That's so cool.
It is a process.
Why not use Steam Screen to do this instead of switching it out? Okay, that's a good question. So the reason why we are doing it this way is, oh my gosh, it's actually pretty complicated. So let me try to explain it in a good way. To get this to work, this is another stream. We have 4,000 kilobits per second to stream this thing, which is VR chat. In order for this to show, we have to stream it somewhere else. But my upload bandwidth is not strong at all. We have up to 8,000 kilobits per second. Or no, we have 11 megabits per second at home. So the other half I'm actually using on my laptop in order to actually stream. But in order for this to actually behave, while I could do it on this computer, the problem is I actually lag super hard when attempting to use it directly on this computer. My computer has very limited resources. The fact that we're here right now is a miracle. When I've done this in the past, where I've had things like my timer and my stream and everything like that kind of like consolidated into one, this thing struggled very hard, and I would get to like 11 to 10 frames per second near the very end of a 3-hour stream. Is because VRChat has a terrible memory leak issue, and so when you're in here long enough, the game will lag pretty bad if you're in a single world for a while. So it clumped up my resources. It was pretty bad for bandwidth. So everything is kind of being consolidated into 2 different machines. Now, Drock brought up an interesting point where I could use something called KDE Connect to use my phone to press like next and previous. That could be something that I could do. I think that's completely valid. That could be something I could experiment with like after the stream, once we actually get past all that.
It's nuts that a game like this has a memory leak, given there is literally nothing going on.
Oh yeah,
it's kind of crazy.
It's
what
insane.
new things are you adding to memory?
Well, I think the thing that usually is a big outlier is particles. So particles themselves are going to be very big and intense on the particular world. And particles can be on both avatars and the world itself. So what I have right now, what you guys see right now, is a post-processing free version of this world, because I don't want this thing to freaking lag. But I'll turn it on for you so you can see. I have particles turned on. Hang on. And then post-processing. So it changes the dynamic completely, but it comes at a cost. There's things that'll probably float around later. It actually looks pretty good right now, but if I keep it on and it continues, it's gonna be very rough around the edges. So I try to keep it down to a minimum because my computer can only do so much. So we'll turn both of those things off. Yeah, VSC is a headache for RAM usage. Yeah, that's the thing. If I get a new computer, I'm probably gonna make it both VRAM heavy and RAM heavy. Like, that's probably what I'm
building
do.
one or buying one?
I probably would build one. I built my first one, so it's like I have enough feel for it where it's like, okay, I just probably need to make sure that the power supply is good, but otherwise, like, I'm happy to go ham with it. I'm happy to like customize what I need in order to get it done.
My PC is a Ship of Theseus situation.
Ship of Theseus?
So it's basically a story from ancient Greece, I think, where like this guy has a ship.
Yeah.
And a part breaks, so he replaces it.
Yeah.
And another part breaks and he replaces. So he does this over and over. And someone basically takes the parts and builds a new ship with these parts. Which ship is the original ship? Is it the one that was built new, like from the parts, or is it the one that was built like replacing everything? Is it the soul of the ship that counts, or is it the parts of the ship?
Truck.
My PC is just that.
Oh my freaking gosh, Truck. You're not gonna believe this. I was actually gonna bring that question up to you as one of the fun questions.
Oh, go on.
Holy
Why do you wanna
freaking
bring it up now?
smokes! He's like, the flow of this is like inhumane right now. It's ridiculous. What the heck? Oh my gosh.
Are you gonna ask which one's the original?
I was just gonna talk about the pirate ship paradox. So it's like, exactly what you were gonna say. It's like there's people who have the ship and they replace one plank after another until the point where all the planks are like exchanged. But the problem is it the same ship? So like you just you started to bring it up on your own. Do we have some kind of like engineer virus or something? This doesn't.
Maybe.
I don't get it. I don't get it. What's going on?
I'll tell you my secrets. Well, I might as well answer the question while we're here then.
Okay.
I think personally, the original ship that had its parts replaced is the ship of Theseus. So that one's the original because I believe that it is in the soul of the ship rather than the physical properties of the ship that retains that memory, Like, my PC is still technically it's my second PC. It's still technically my second PC because I went and replaced bits over time, including the case. There's like nothing of my original one left. But because it happened over a period of time and it still has the soul and the continuation of that first one that I bought, it's still the same PC in my mind, but it's just a lot better. You know?
Interesting. I think that's a very fascinating answer. I like that a lot. To like build off of what you're talking about, there was a Vsauce video that I remember seeing a long time ago where it talked about like your skin changes out like at least I don't know how long for like many years, but
maybe
like
3 years I think for a full skin cycle.
Yeah, something like that. But like all of our skin changes out. Is it the same person? Yeah, I think it is because we're carrying through like our own soul and we're still moving around. We still have personality. It's just we're just got a completely different skin exchange. So weird to think about.
It is. This is why philosophy is such an interesting topic.
I love it. I love it so much. It's
I'd
so
love
good.
to touch on more philosophy.
It's the same with the human body. Yes, Joker! Yes! All the
Joking,
cells are
not-
brand
not
new.
subbed.
There's so much time, so you're really the original. Are you secretly like an engineer or something, Joker? What's going... I love this question so much. This has to be my most favorite question that we have asked all day.
It's a good question. It's a really good question. It generates some good answers.
Oh yeah, oh yeah. That's why tastes change over time. Yeah, I can see that, right? Oh my goodness. Yeah. Cause like I don't know, like I was not really like a green bean person for a while. It's a guilty secret, okay? Small kid piggy eater stuff. I was not a green bean eater for a while, but eventually like I was able to come to my senses and I was able to get something out of it. But no, I get that, because eventually you change out your taste, your interest and all that, but it's still you, but you've just gone through things. You've been sharpened. So
Yeah.
huh.
Funny you mentioned like that. Like, you know how I said that I make that egg sandwich and sometimes I put 3 eggs in it if I'm really greedy? I used to not like eggs.
Interesting.
Yeah, I used to not like them. Never ate them. And then I basically just went, yeah, sod it, I'm going to eat it. I liked it.
Took it on. You not only ate them, but you like ate them like a boss, like a. Vroom,
Yeah.
ow.
Honestly, yeah, sunny side up as well, which is like something you probably got to get used to with a runny egg yolk.
Yeah, no, my mom's afraid of sunny side up, but I would be willing to try.
Really?
That. Yeah, she doesn't like it.
Well, because of the liquid yolk, or?
I think it's probably because it's like not cooked, so like.
Yeah, we don't have that problem.
Oh.
The difference in we would not allow American eggs into the UK because they are not vaccinated.
Oh. That's...
We vaccinate our chickens. Well, no, we probably would, but we have something called the red lion mark,
Yeah.
which basically denotes eggs are raised, or the chickens that lay the eggs are raised in a certain way, you know, like free range, and the chickens have been vaccinated against salmonella and stuff like that. So if you see red lion mark on them, you know you can eat them raw.
Wow. That's... I respect that. I really do. Cause like that is such a problem over here, and I didn't even realize why that was the case. Cause like
Yeah.
I've seen the stereotype where like if you go to like Japan or someplace else, so you can have eggs raw. That's probably
Yeah.
why, cause
It's similar here.
they're doing so well with taking care of their chickens.
Yeah. Well, what else is interesting, right? I've seen people talk about Fanta. I don't know if you've seen the color difference between American and everywhere else Fanta.
I know where this is going, but yes, I know what you mean.
Yeah. So you know that the everywhere else has it's a more muted orange, right, compared to the radioactive, non-judgmental radioactive orange Fanta that you guys have.
Correct.
It's the opposite for eggs and egg yolks.
Oh, interesting.
Your egg yolks are a lot more like muted yellow, whereas over here they're quite a deep orange because I don't know why, just the way they're raised, I guess, the minerals that are in them, it makes them a lot of deeper orange. You probably get obviously the similar things, but they're probably more expensive.
I like that. That's really cool. Huh.
Little cultural differences.
Absolutely. What he was talking about earlier about the Fanta, there's actually a name for the chemical. It's called Red 40. Red 40.
Yeah, I know that got banned recently, didn't it?
Oh yeah, big ban recently. I saw it on YouTube. I'm regurgitating what I heard from there. But also my mom knows about it, and so she says, "Son, you can't do this. It's got Red 40." And then I go, "Oh my gosh." Let's see what else. Oh,
I don't think we banned it, but I think we basically drove it out of existence in a way, because anything that has artificial flavors has to put on the front artificial flavors. And for some reason, the sweets that I've received from the US all have it almost like proudly on the front. Like, we have artificial flavors, and it's like,
yeah.
Why don't you work to not do that, and then things will be more appealing, right?
Yeah, exactly. Let's see. Long time no speak. Books, my nemesis. He's fine, Joker. Books is a good boy. He's a good boy. He offers boops, and he offers food, like from the toaster, like popsicles from the toaster, like every other normal toaster does. Let's see. What you didn't like as a kid, you like now. Your environment changes those tastes also. So when new cells are made and you're around something for enough time, then those cells change to adapt, kind of like environment adaptation and cell enlightenment. We also wash our eggs so they didn't last long out of fridge. Okay. Joker, that's really interesting to hear, because let's talk about a converse for a minute. I'll ask you a very specific question. Have you ever had a Hershey's chocolate bar before?
A very long time ago, so I don't remember it.
Okay.
But I do know where you're going with this.
So
the thing is the Hershey's that you can get over here, I think, is adapted to the European palate.
Mm-hmm. Exactly.
Like the Cadbury's that you buy in the US is adapted to the US palate.
Oh yeah.
That's probably something I plan to come over to the US hopefully in November time for Thanksgiving, and I think I will have to try Hershey's and try not to die.
You see, that's what we're talking about, because like, okay, if I were to have some UK chocolate, it would be very sweet for me. If you were to have like Hershey's chocolate over there, allegedly, it sounds like based off of the ingredients that we have used here for like a long time, it would probably taste like sour milk, from what I understand, or something of that caliber. I don't know exactly.
Yes, I've heard it's pretty foul, just because of the lactic acid that's in the chocolate from the dried milk or whatever it is.
Yeah, so like Joker, what you're saying is like so spot on, because like, what the flip? Like, I can have a chocolate bar and it tastes normal to me, but then it's gonna be intense for him if he has the same one, or vice versa, you know? It's just...
I think the thing is it's more of association. So you associate chocolate as being that flavor that's tangy, let's put it. And you that's how you associate the flavor of chocolate and chocolate bars and stuff like that. Whereas over here, we're more of into like sort of a sweet, milky chocolate. And whilst you guys would probably like that, it's not what you'd say is your childhood chocolate flavor, right? It is a different flavor. Whereas for me, I would probably completely dislike the American chocolate because it tastes like certain things that we don't like.
Yeah. Oh, that's so cool. I just missed the Kinder eggs. Oh.
Kinder eggs are fun. I haven't bought one for a very long time. But then again, I'm also 23, so it's... But I am an adult. I could buy one if I wanted to.
I never knew about Kinder eggs until I found out like that was a very popular YouTube video that was for a certain audience. So I was like, oh, that's interesting.
I think that started a series of consumerism in the US. You found out that there were like blind box chocolates, and you're like, "Ooh, this blind box thing could be really good to sell to children."
Oh no!
Our parents don't buy it for us because it's too expensive.
Yeah.
There's barely any chocolate on those things, but they cost them money.
I get that. You know what that reminds me of? I don't know if you've ever heard of the brand called Bueno before, but it's like it's a type of chocolate that also has like hazelnut spread on the inside.
Yeah.
It's
like Kinder Bueno.
Yeah. It's pretty good.
The adverts for those annoy me. Yeah.
Annoy you?
Yeah, we got some adverts. I can't remember what they are now, but they just annoyed me. They just annoyed me so much.
Oh, that sounds like my trolley over at our place. It's like
I know what it is.
They shot so many trolley ads like one year, and I was like, "You're not gonna go away, are you?" Good grief.
Yeah, I remember what it was. It's fairly recent actually. I think it's just like they're in an office, and this lady's like trying to call for her colleague Ben. And he's going, Ben, Bueno. And he just like goes into this trance or something like that. It's just, so stupid. With me.
Oh, geez.
Just give us back our cool little radio ad jingles, man. I like my local one.
Yes.
I like my local stuff.
Oh, that's hilarious.
I think we should ban corporate companies from making adverts. It's so annoying.
You see, that's a very interesting thing that's just happened now, is like if you have social media influence, that's the big stake that people are always trying to sink their teeth into. Because if you have somebody that's trusted that will go in and just talk about a product, then they'll like have a big stake, and it's like, oh, objectively speaking, this, and they're trusting their audience that they'll move along the vibe. And so that's the big thing that really sticks out, is that can be advertising for them should they want to be able to get them into like a non-disclosure or anything like that beforehand. That's very interesting, deep rabbit hole to get yourself into.
Yeah. That's why I'm terribly careful when there's like celebrity endorsement on stuff. I kind of don't tend to buy stuff if it's endorsed by people, which is very strange. Like if there's specific people endorsing it, unless there's like a random YouTuber that's like invested in mobile technology or whatever, I tend to not trust it. I don't like celebrity endorsement because I think it's just a manipulative tactic.
I hear you there. Like, realistically, I kind of like that about the attitude that you work with, because objectively speaking, you're wanting to get the facts, right? What actually works, what actually doesn't. But to get those signals properly, you have to go look for the right sources. And I say that ambiguously because you know what that translates to? Your job.
Very true.
You gotta.
It does.
You gotta be able to denoise and really understand what works and what doesn't. So like, you got an engineer spirit, man. It's you gotta get to the point, figure out what works and what doesn't, objectively speaking.
It sticks with you.
Yeah.
You can't escape it. Stays with you.
Oh goodness. In the U.S., we are a country of excess. So when it comes to us, we go into the extreme. I can see that to a strong degree. Like when it comes down to like very sweet cookies, for example, or different types of candies, like there's a lot of like regulation that needs to be worked on when it comes to advertising and stuff. You know what's interesting to me is I think it was Canada that recently banned the usage of anthropomorphic characters or characters that look appealing to kids in order to put them on advertisements for cereal boxes. It's
okay.
Yeah.
Quite cool.
It's a really weird fact, but if you go to Canada and you see like Lucky Charms, you're not going to see the leprechaun that we see over here in America.
No. We in the UK have something on TV called Watershed, and that is a period of time between, I think it's 9 o'clock at night or 10 o'clock at night and 6 o'clock in the morning. And basically, if you're not in Watershed, which is basically when children are meant to be asleep, I don't think you can advertise fast food.
Huh. Okay.
No, there's certain restrictions on what you can advertise, because we are also quite strict on how we deal with things like this.
Yeah.
Gambling. Obviously, we're talking about like on kids' channels. Normally on like adult TV, it doesn't really matter all that much. But on kids' channels, no advertising this and that's harmful to children's health. And I think we also have quite a strict regulation, and I say strict, on how like you can advertise on like buses and train platforms and stuff as well.
Yeah.
Like if it's not healthy enough food, you can't put it on there.
Right.
So we also have similar regulations. I think we've also got something called the sugar tax.
Oh.
Which has driven the amount of sugar that is in many, many things and down, because obviously if a company wants to sell it with the same amount of sugar, they've got to pay a lot more money.
Yeah. Oh, that's...
and that covers a lot of stuff. Like we recently applied that to milkshakes and I like coffees in bottle, like iced coffees in bottles, which was not on the list but now is. And we also, I think, stopped infinite refills too. Although I see conflicting sources, i.e. the local Burger King.
Yeah. That's...
I'll have to relate that.
I like hearing all that. Like, Joker, you said something quite interesting with the excess part, because he's describing about things that get heavily regulated, right? I think the struggle that we have here is that based off of how our like economy operates, like we want to be able to get attention in the strongest way that we possibly can. but that also means that with the kind of stuff that we are able to sell and do, the regulation for those small things, like, doesn't necessarily catch up until much later, right? Like, we're just now banning Red 40, but that's been around for almost at least a couple of decades now. So
yes,
they need to be able to catch up very soon. But if we do something like that, we realize, like, how much is actually, like, how do I say? We don't realize what our norm is compared to what happens in other countries until we realize, my gosh, we've been advertised so much about these glowy candies and all this other stuff and heavily
radioactive sweets. Yeah.
Oh gee. Like, it makes sense. Like, this whole thing, you wrapped it in so well, Joker, because what they're focusing on and where he is a lot of holistic work to ensure that somebody's happy and healthy. We're over here, like, the way that we're constructed, like, we have highways to be able to get to places. Like, we can't actually drive or walk easily to certain places. We sit down a lot. I'm telling you that from 7 years of experience of sitting down for my job. And we don't do enough standing. There's some other places that I heard recently that have mandated that you have the ability to stand up most of the time for your work, even if you're doing like a desk job. So there's that. And then if you walk around while you're in the meeting place and you're doing presentations and stuff, like, all of that is designed for people to be happier and stronger, and you make more neural connections because you have bigger blood flow. All that stuff is important. We don't realize how much excess that we have in terms of, like, how much we're consuming and then how much we are using, but then not even realizing what's impacting our own bodies, both physically and mentally. So we gotta be careful.
There's sort of a big thing that I take from life generally, and it's sort of partially inspired by the engineering and the reenactment and just like old stuff that I do, and that I really don't like the idea of being constantly in comfort and not pushing yourself, but also convenience. I really heavily dislike convenience. For like overly convenient stuff, because it makes you lazy, it makes you unhealthy. It's this kind of stuff. Like, I try to make things inconvenient for myself sometimes. I tomorrow probably could drive places like to the dry cleaners or to the dentist, but I won't. I'll walk them. It's a walk, but I'll walk them because I don't want to be lazy. And recently there's more discourse on air conditioning in Europe in general, in the UK after all our heat waves. And again, that's something I am quite passionate about. I figured out I'm quite passionate against air conditioning.
Really? Interesting.
Sounds weird? Yeah. So in Europe we don't have a lot of air conditioning, and this is why we've been laughing recently, because we had hotter temperatures than most of the US have ever had, or not ever had, but like normally has during the summer. But we also don't have air conditioning, so we sort of survived that.
Yeah.
And now we're just like looking at Americans and laughing about it. It's funny. There's a server, I remember they're all complaining and talking about air conditioning and the summer heat, and I'm like, we literally had that like a week ago in brick houses, that retain the heat.
Yeah.
But there's been a lot of discourse around air conditioning, getting air conditioners where we need them. And I'm sitting here like, they make a lot of noise, they're expensive in countries that, to run, that have like power in the UK is so expensive. Really expensive, so we can't really afford to run them. They are noisy, and in a compact place like the UK where all the houses are like joined to each other, can't really do that. It's going to make so much noise. It doesn't cool things down, it just pumps the heat outside, and they leak gases into the atmosphere, which are greenhouse gases themselves, and it just causes more problems. Like, air conditioners, whilst they make things convenient and comfortable, cause the problems you're trying to escape.
Oh,
and that's why I really, really, really don't like them. I have a passion against them.
Huh. That is a very interesting outlook. I'd have to really process that, but it also makes a lot of sense, right? Because you said it earlier. Oh my gosh. Because you said, when we're engineering things, we create new solutions to solve new problems. Because we're escalating the situation.
Yeah, it's one of those sort of like band-aid solutions where it's like, yeah, sure, you make your house cool, but at what cost? It's just gonna make the outside hotter, and you're gonna have to cool your house even more.
Yeah.
Whereas like various countries in like the Iberians and other Mediterranean countries, they kind of have their own solutions which have worked for them for a very long time and could work for us in Northern Europe, i.e. putting curtains on the outside of windows, keeping windows closed, triple glazing, keeping curtains closed. Stuff like that that we aren't trying, we're just skipping straight to let's implement power-hungry, horrible infrastructure.
I'm gonna have to share you sometime with a laptop that I keep bragging about a lot. Like, there's one laptop that I have. It's like a netbook from like 2008. When you turn it on and it's not doing much of anything, I think its current maximum RAM usage is something like 250 to 280 megabytes. Like, it's very small. But I think about that, and you just have like a terminal user interface and install programs that are related to that kind of ecosystem. You don't need a lot to get problems solved, is what I'm thinking about, right? If somebody takes the time to take that inconvenience that you're saying, right? In your case, it's walking. In the laptop's case, it's maybe you learn how to use the command line a little bit, right? It's not scary. You can work in with it. But if you exercise it, you exercise your ability to move, you exercise your ability to launch programs that may be a little bit more rugged, you can make a lot of things happen with a small footprint, but you become stronger out of that.
Yes. Yeah, exactly. Like, we had literally, I think, three times the same day during our heat wave a couple weeks ago did we break the UK June temperature record. And I think it was, I mean, on my weather app it said that the maximum temperature was going to be, I think it was 110 Fahrenheit. I don't think that ended up being the case, but it was quite high. It was in like the mid to high 90s Fahrenheit actual temperature in these places. And I was just sitting downstairs with my mum, all the curtains closed, just kind of chilling. It wasn't that hot because, fortunately, with our houses, if the heat doesn't get in, it doesn't get in.
Yeah.
Because it's designed to keep heat in, it also keeps heat out. So if you don't let it in, that's no problem. I did go outside at one point to move the bins, and it was like opening an oven door. It was pretty bad. It was pretty bad.
That's so fascinating. I like thinking about that because, like, I don't know, when I think about how my friend Turtles, he's also like lives in the UK general area. But when he is over there, he talks about how he has like really old brick houses, but it's there for a reason because the brick has that design intention. If you want to be able to retain temperature, the brick in itself kind of has that holistic solution to the problem that you're kind of experiencing.
Yeah, it is a solution that I think we need to focus on. And I think it's probably likely that a lot of houses in Europe in general in the future will be built to withstand hotter temperatures, have better breeze and throughput of air so that we don't have to worry about that. It's called like passive house or something like that. And it's just design that allows air to be pushed through passively more easily and stuff. Because with my house, I've got walls in the way of all the windows, so we don't really have great air ability, you know, not easy pathways for air. And that proved very true on the day after that massive heat wave. It was a bit cooler, but the top of my house stayed so warm that I had to push air through and drag it in from the back window and through the house, you know, with a couple of fans. But you come up with solutions in that way that aren't nearly as damaging as air conditioning, for example, you know.
And when you're in that place, not only do solutions pop out, but it comes out in ways that you wouldn't have been able to see because everyone else moved out from that. So by being in those situations, you garner a lot of experience in being able to apply situations differently, but in a really good way. I appreciate that. That's really cool.
Yeah, no, it's a sort of like life should have a level of inconvenience and uncomfortableness to it because it pushes you and society generally further. You know, like with walking and being able to put yourself out there, it gets the energy going and you burn off calories and it helps you stay more fit. It also puts you in a good headspace a lot of the time if you've got the right area for it. And I understand that obviously infrastructure is different in the US, you know.
Yeah.
But like, just as an example. And with the heat, like finding ways that are admittedly not as good as air conditioning, but are still better for the world and probably you in the long run, you know, just via that inconvenience. It's just sometimes good for you. It's good for your soul because you become lazy and, I don't know, just passive if you don't have it there.
Yeah, then you don't get into any transformation if you're not uncomfortable. So
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, if you don't get through that, you don't learn anything. Therefore, things can become mundane, and you're not changing anything out, and therefore, it's not good for the mindset. So I like hearing about that.
Comfort zone is a very interesting topic to talk about, but not on brand right now.
Right. That's all good. Let's see. So we have about 25 more minutes formally inside this current stream. So we'll go ahead and try to see if we can move on to some other questions here. I don't know if we'll run into all of them, but I feel like the questions that we did say so far, just honestly, in a general standpoint, I feel like the questions, if they didn't get asked directly, probably would have already been answered because of what kind of stuff that we've touched so far, which this is why I love just chatting so much, because we can flow it without having necessarily stick to a specific point, which it's very fun to just talk to a person like that. Let's see. So we talked about this one. Let's go to this one. Oh, well, there you go. So there's a question right there. Here's an example for you, Drak. When we were talking earlier about your robot, it's not there, but I was going to ask, like, what did you learn if you did not, or versus if you did not actually go into that project? I said something very similar. I said, what would you say is something that you learned out of robotics engineering that you were not expecting to learn? So, like, what the heck? We kind of like...
It's just the problem solving, man.
Yeah.
It's just the problem solving. Like, it's really important.
We got through it. That's the magic of this sort of thing. I love this so much. It's so cool. Let's see. I'm not gonna lie, the ship thing like blew my mind. The fact that you were thinking about
it seems to be just a thing that engineers have on their minds,
Probably.
Engineering culture, I guess.
Yeah, probably so, man. That's crazy. Okay, so here's one. This one actually comes from a main question, but I'll ask the sub point because it's a potentially interesting one. Beth Lapine, hello there. Very good to see you. Thanks for stopping by to the stream. Hope you're having a good July 5th, and hopefully you're able to get some fireworks in here if you're from the US. Hopefully you're doing okay today. Very good to have you here. We're talking to Mr. Drak over here. He is quite a legend.
That's very kind of you.
So when it comes down to it, I want to go back because your robot brought up a very interesting point. So let's skim through a lot of this. There's actually really good pictures in here, but here's your robot again. Your robot, I was looking into it, and like you're using a Raspberry Pi Pico, if I understand correctly, right?
Yes.
Yeah. So inside your Raspberry Pi Pico, for context for everyone else, these things have to be low-level languages, right? So when you're handling that, it's the difference between trying to speak English or like basic, or let's say you go to New York, you have your street smarts language, but then you have to go and speak like a Wikipedian. This is the difference between the type of languages that people would generally see. There's high-level languages, and then there's low-level languages. In my case, I deal with a lot of high-level stuff, which is TypeScript and JavaScript. In his case, for this, likely C, C++, I don't know about assembly.
It's a good mix of stuff. Yeah, I decided to ditch C++ for this one because I hate C. I really hate C. But sometimes you gotta.
That's totally fair. What was the question that I had here? Compared to software that you... Okay, wait a minute. Oh, okay. So here's the question itself. So compared to software that you've made as an interface how would you say it compares to doing embedded software with languages of that kind of caliber, right? I don't know if that is, it's a very broad question, but you have two experiences, right, to explain it. You build an interface for your robot, right? It has like, I think you have like a GPS map, you have the ability to control it and all that stuff. But then you have the actual robot software. So how do you feel like it compares?
It's two quite different worlds, to be honest with you. So with the software that I made generally, what did I use? I used a library with Python. And initially it was Tkinter, and then I changed that to a different one. Because it was laggy. Tkinter sucks. But with this software, it was kind of just like, you add a button, you tell what the button does, and then it appears on the screen. Right, that's it. There's not really much to it. Obviously with higher, more complex stuff, there's more complex code. But it's quite highly based on the libraries you get, because unless you're going to be writing literally like OpenGL stuff, you want to use the libraries, right?
Right.
Whereas embedded systems, you don't really have to worry about like the top level. Oh, it looks fancy and all that kind of stuff. If it works, it works.
Yep.
So there's a little bit of leeway in that regard, but you do have to worry about obviously the memory usage and the size of the program, and obviously the actual functioning of it and how it works. Is it robust? Does it crash? All that kind of stuff. It's different in the ways that in the way that it's perceived from an external viewpoint. And especially when you're comparing a PyPico, which is it's actually surprisingly good for a microcontroller, but it's still small RAM, small amount of memory, small amount of storage for programs, compared to, the probably like 4 gigabyte Pentium computer laptop that you've got on your desk, which in comparison is ridiculously insane. You don't have to worry so much about the performance of the program, although sometimes you find that you actually do. But, the performance isn't such a problem when you don't have to worry about 2 kilobytes of RAM,
Right.
You got more room and more freedom.
That is a really interesting thought now that I think about it, because what's it? I immediately think about the laptop example again versus like the stuff that we're accustomed to, right? There's a convenience factor for what we're doing. It's because it's designed for humans. For this,
Yes.
you're designing it so then it runs and goes, but in a very efficient and tight manner. So these two worlds, this rigid world, and then there's this all flexy world that we use for us, it teaches two different sides, and I really like this. Okay, so it could just be me being biased. Well, okay, it's probably me being biased because look at my shirt. There's the yin, there's the yang. So this guy right here represents like two different extremes, but they have to coexist with each other. So when you're working with this, I find it so fascinating because you're working with two different extremes. You're working with the user interface, but you're also working with constraints. Do you feel like this is just organic? Because this is kind of a similar question to your experience with robotics in general alongside your medieval reenactments. So in the same spirit of such, do you feel like you learn some stuff through the hardware side of putting stuff together in order to build something for the software side, alternatively vice versa, right? Do you feel like in either one of these worlds that you've been able to grab sections that help complement each other in either field?
There's certain levels of this kind of actually comes down to more of like documentation, actually, and making sure it's neat. That's not neat, but when you're designing a proper project, and I sent you some pictures specifically of the one with the circuit boards, right?
Yeah.
You can see how neat those wires were if you've got it on there. The one where it's got an open top and it's quite neat.
Let's grab it. I think it's gonna be earlier in. Is it this one right here? Let's find out. Is it this one?
No, it's not that one.
Not that one.
It's
Okay.
it's got this bit sort of opened, and there's loads of wires inside.
Okay. Let's take a look.
It might not be in here. I don't remember seeing it.
I'm not sure myself. We also have this robot building some things. I don't know if that's what you're talking about.
That's not it.
Okay. I don't know. Maybe I didn't put it in there.
It might not be on here. That's fine.
Okay. Well, we'll stick it right here where you did some crocheting.
That'll do. Yeah. So basically, it's something that's quite relatable. That you obviously deal with a lot of software. It is very easy to get lost. If something goes wrong with some part of your code that you notice, you've got to find that, right? In hundreds or thousands of lines of code, you've got to know where that is. Hardware is very similar, in which if something breaks, I've got to find where the break is. So you end up, I think obviously you probably maybe remember one of the, the image I'm talking about. But it's got wires that are very neat. And I did that very on purpose because there are 12 sections. Each of them has 3 wires. So that's 36 wires that go all the way back. And then there's,
Very organized wires. I'm kidding.
That's close enough, yeah. It's close enough. It's close enough. But it's trying to keep it neat and trying to keep it organized. And so you can find and debug things really easily in the hardware. And then additionally with comments in the code, as well as physical documentation based, on the systems, showing other people how to debug and use a system is very important for both software and hardware.
Yeah.
And I kind of learned that a lot from software development because, like, with C, especially Arduino, if you're using the normal Arduino IDE, you can't very easily use different files and header files and stuff. You just kind of have to chuck it all in one. And when your code gets to 800 lines, you kind of just start losing stuff.
I think
so you want to root it easily.
What you said there makes a lot of sense. It's more or less so like how do you write the code, but more so how do you work with the process, right? So I'm hearing documentation, being able to troubleshoot, understanding how to assess the steps. Like, that's transferable and it makes a lot of sense. That's a very strong answer. I really like that a lot. But it's there's obviously the whole thing of one of the hardest things about coding, and I know you'll probably know the answer to this, is naming variables, right? That's important in wiring stuff because you don't know where the heck wires go. If you've got a big machine, which some of my colleagues work on, I'm only an intern right now, so I don't do that kind of stuff, but right.
You want to be able to know which end of the wire goes to which thing without having to follow the whole wire, which is embedded within a machine. So you want to put labels on the wire. And one of the images again I sent you was like 3 black braided cables almost, like loads of red and blue and black wires coming out of them. And each of them was plugged into a bus, which is just basically a slab of metal with screws in it, so that you can connect them all together. That's just so that they all get triggered at the same time and whatnot.
Right.
And I labelled both ends of the wires, or I labelled the end of the wire in that thing, because the other end's obviously just going to a section, so you know which one it is. Just making sure that things are labelled correctly and understandably, and they make sense, so that you can very much follow them back to where you need them to be. A lot easier than if you didn't label them and you're like, which one's the one for slot 5? Tug, not that one. Tug,
yes.
Not that one. Tug, Whereas you can just go and look at it and it says 5 and you're like, oh, that one,
That makes so much sense, because I remember when I first started, like, you can remember logic, you can do executions of things, but when I was starting out, it was so funny. Some of my things that I began with, I cringed at, because I said variable A, variable B, variable C, and I go, why am I naming it like this past me? Don't do that.
It's such a big problem, isn't it? You know, you look back at it and you're like, oh. There was a code that I was handed for a small machine, and it ended up me writing 800 lines of code to try and make it better. But when I received it, I saw a variable called v and a variable called like a and stuff amongst the variables that were clearly not, you know, they were named properly because he probably copied the code from a separate website, which is fine, it happens.
Right.
And I'm like, what does this mean?
Mm-hmm.
What is this? Can you maybe label and comment stuff? And then additionally, there was about 100 lines of just commented out code. No one did. I just kind of deleted it. Hoped.
That wouldn't have flied in the company that I worked at near the very end. That's crazy. But you're saying something important here. It's having clear intents with your actions, right? So when it comes down to naming variables or doing a variety of different things, for example, he is stating his intent in his action the more that he's able to take these steps. This stuff transcends beyond variables, right? He's talked about setting up wires, but then you could take it further out. There's something in the engineering space called the SDLC, or the Software Development Lifecycle. When you have something like this, your goal is to describe your intents and actions as clear as you can, but the problem is that your vision of it is going to be clear as mud. So this sounds like a paradox, right? But to be able to get that stuff done and understand where you need to move, you have to put your intents and actions forward. And the more that you do that on each step and all the way down to the variable level, if you can have full wires of information that allows you to get a clear idea of what's going on, then you're going to have so much of a better time to explain how the process works and how to get something through to somebody in the event that maybe they're learning something new about what you're doing, or maybe there's a problem later down the road and you need to solve it, right? So
it's forethought and putting actual passion into what you create, even if it's something like that.
Yes. This guy seeps wisdom. He talked about variables, and all of a sudden we outputted just intents and actions.
I'm the wise man. I'm the wise man.
Much impressed. It's very good. Toast. Did Bookspot break? What? And maybe you need to do toaster. I forget the exact command there. I have to look again. Oh,
just say toast above.
Yeah! Exclamation toast. So why didn't it work for you? That's weird. I'm going to look at Bookspot's code. That's okay. What if you do exclamation help, Joker? Yes, in fluffy space. Taoism. That's kind of what it is. Taoism, like that comes from Chinese like religion. That's like the origin of where this came from at the very least. It's used a lot in Stoicism as well. So that's where I've gotten it from, because I listen to a lot about Stoicism, and I will also read about Stoicism quite a bit. So it's one of my favorite pleasures to like look into, no pun intended, by the way. It's one of my favorite pleasures to read about, because it sinks into about not just, how do I describe? There's good minimalism inside Taoism and understanding where things are. So in conjunction with my religion, which is Christianity, it helps me get like another like POV for like why you might want to be patient about something, right? Because it's all about either something is in your control or it's not. Yin yang, right? Stuff like that. Maybe you have a glass that is able to contain liquid, yin yang. So there's a lot of things that you can compare into, and it was easily described by Eiselganger as one of those things where the world is kind of composed of ones and zeros, effectively, because there's a lot of like on and offs, but they also have their granularity, which if it didn't, the yin yang would be like a flat line. It's not. It's a swoosh. So
that makes sense.
Yeah. This is a very interesting topic. I like Stoicism a lot. Eiselganger is one of my favorite.
Stoicism is great.
Yeah. There's many different sources if you want to check out Stoicism. Einzelgänger is a good one. But also, there is a book that I remember reading about. It's called Ego is the Enemy. And it's a very paradoxical book, but it talks all about that. It's a Stoicism book made by Ryan Holiday. I love it a lot because it teaches you, it's like, okay, based off of your perception of what's going on in life right now, how do you take this on? And do you need additional feedback to figure out where to go? Because otherwise, you're going to try to you're not going to take an action that'll be educated based off of your environment. So complicated stuff, but philosophy is a very fun topic. I love it so much.
Yes, I love philosophy. It just helps you solve life's problems that you don't necessarily think about.
Oh yeah. And like, it's the kind of stuff that helps out with his field too, because once you figure out like the really strange stuff that goes into like, I don't know a specific example, but for some examples that happen in the book, it's how do you manage a company in the state of a crisis, right? So how do you wind up crunching in the right time and the right place based off of your resources that you got? So many things you can
I can give you
apply.
an example.
Okay.
The big product model that I had on there, I'm trying to remember the exact timeline. I was basically given, I think it was probably 9 months to make that. I think, because this was like last year, about a year. And they were like, okay, we need it for this date, right? Or, we need it for mid this month. And then they pulled it back and took like a third of the time that I had off of it. And I only had about 3 weeks left to complete it. And it was not in a really complete state. So I had basically to choose whether I wanted to send it out in a not so good state, if I had to send it out in a state that was like half good, but also kind of good, but like not have certain features, which is what I ended up going for. Or do I just tell them, nah, you chose the day, and yeah, obviously I ended up choosing sort of the middle one, whereas I took some features out. There was going to be more LEDs, and I was probably going to redo one of the mechanisms in it, which ended up being a problem in the end, which I noticed. The other guys didn't, but yeah. But it ended up being an issue. I would have changed it if I had the time, but they took it off of me, and that's their problem.
Goodness. Yeah, I mean, there you go. That's a very big example. I think being able to have that kind of framework out there it's a very fascinating one. I do like the topic in general. We're getting very short on time, unfortunately. So what I'm going to probably do is we'll go ahead and quickly talk about some of these things alongside a video that we didn't get to share just yet.
Go for it, yeah.
Yeah, because I know it's probably it's going to be like 12 for you real soon, right? Or 1 o'clock?
It is. It'll be 1 o'clock, yeah.
Oh, okay. So we'll be quick. So we'll go ahead and share a video here. This is an example of, whoops, that's the wrong one. This is an example of a thing that he did with his group for Medieval Reenactment. This right here is something that he did, I think, roughly a year ago. Not that. This one.
This is the fun part of reenactment. I went to this event actually a few weeks ago. It was so successful they did another one, more people. It was brilliant.
Oh, that's cool. But yeah, right here.
These guys are Civil War reenactors.
I gotcha, yeah.
And then obviously there's a...
That looks terrifying to have happen.
It's, yeah. I'm known as a little bit of an annoying person to fight, because if someone's got a pole, like a weapon with a pole on it, I do grab it. I will grab the pole. I'm known to do that.
See, that's a fun thing to talk about with like his character, because it's one of those things where he can build a story based off of what he is actually doing there, which I love so much.
The fighting style is one of those interesting ones. Like, I can be fairly decent, especially as again against poled weapons. There was someone in my new group who was also fighting me with a Dane axe, which is what the weapon he was using was. And I think out of about 6 or 7, don't do it, bouts of fighting, I need to not say those two numbers together. Of a few bouts of fighting against me with a Dane axe, and I had a sword. I think he won maybe one of them, and I got him with the rest because I was horrible and grabbed the axe. I think because they mandate shield for sword fighters, you have to have a shield. I think I may have used the shield to block an attack and then run in against him, because if you've got an axe head, you know, you swung it out at me, I'm just gonna go like that, move in and get there, you know?
Yeah.
That was something I do. I'm kind of horrible to fight against when it comes to poled weapons. But this guy then was like, no, screw this, I'm gonna pick up a sword, and he didn't go well after that for me.
Oh my gosh. For those who weren't there earlier, this is something that Jock does as like an extra hobby, which is the medieval reenactment stuff. So he plays a character that he has created over time. In our world, that would be like a persona, but in his case, he's got like somebody with like concrete lore that he creates as he is doing the enactment continuously, right? So it's very interesting to like hear what kind of stuff he'll do, because like he can use that battle and he can talk to some of the people who are in the space, and he can say, oh yeah, I had this one amazing battle, guys, and then he can keep an accent, he can have his story and apply it to all that. So it's really cool. I like it.
There's some very good reasons to why you need a character in this kind of thing, or more, because some people have multiple characters, and it's less for the public but more for your fellow reenactors, because if, say, one of them is sitting down and they're like, they're talking to someone about, like, say, the Vikings had this faith and the Anglo-Saxons were Christian, and no, go talk to this guy. They can do that because they know my background and what I can talk about.
Yeah.
That kind of stuff, you know. We have a Christian, I think he's a priest or something like that, but he's also, I think he's an Anglo-Saxon priest or monk. But then he has a second character, which is a Danish heathen. And he's got the knowledge of those sides, including he knows a ritual from the Laknunga, which is an Anglo-Saxon text, which contains various charms and medicines and stuff. And it is based on like how to get a fertile field. And he basically, when I went to this first event that I met them, just had a cube of dirt sitting on a table.
Interesting.
It was just it genuinely looked like Minecraft. There was just a cube of dirt on the table.
I think that, the whole thing makes sense though, because then you have the network of folks. They know exactly what they're up to, and by doing that, you literally add to the perception of the enactment just by creating that world. That's genius. I like that.
You have a character that you and everyone knows, so you can be consistent about it with them, and you're kind of just making your own little village.
Exactly. That's really cool. What time we got going on there? Just making sure. We hit 1 minute over, and I am absolutely angry because we were not able to go through all the questions. But that is okay.
I'm not too in a rush, so we can have a little bit more of a chat. But
okay.
Well, here's a story I can tell you actually from reenactment. Why not give it a go, right? So
oh my gosh! Sorry.
Here we go. This is fun. This is kind of like I think this is post-public time, so it was after public had gone, right? But I'll give you a bit of background. In this area in East Anglia, there's obviously a few groups of reenactors. I'm part of one of the bigger ones, but at this point I was with my small one, and everyone. And I repeat, pretty much everyone who does this longer term knows of a blacksmith in a county sort of over from me, who makes really high quality replica swords and stuff like that. Brilliant weaponry. And people just apparently they just go sit at his house sometimes and have picnics outside. Just as they do. And I was at an event in the county Cambridgeshire. And he was there. He had a stall out, and he was selling, you know, his weapons and stuff, handles, handleless stuff, whatever. And we were having a bit of a post-public drink, as you know, I've mentioned. And I'd never really spoken to this guy, but I knew who he was, and knew his name and stuff like that. I'd been introduced, and I'd had a chat with him. And I looked at the drinking horn he had, and it was massive. It was a huge drinking horn, and it was jeweled on the top. And I sort of looked and said, "What is that?" Because that's not something you have, right? Drinking horns, they had them for various reasons. We're not entirely sure how much they use them, but he had this giant one with jewels on it. I said, "Why have you got this thing?" And he said to me that it was because he knows groups that are very specific on their accuracy, and he likes to annoy them by having this thing. Because you don't have jewels on this. It looked like something straight out of a medieval movie rather than a reenactment, so it was blatantly and obviously wrong. And then, you know, come later in the evening, the sun's gone down at this point. We're all actually in the act of starting to get a bit tipsy and play some music and stuff like that. A lot of fun. He was like, "Oh, I've got this ale," and just hands this giant horn to me. I've barely spoken with this guy. Just hands this horn to me. "Yeah, have some." I'm like, "You're offering me to drink out of your fancy, stupid horn, and I barely know you, you know." And so I just took a sip. It was some decent ale. I don't really like ale, but it was good. And it was just a moment of like, you don't know me. I'm not famous or anything. I'm not well known in the reenactment sphere, you know, anything like that. I'm kind of a nomad of groups right now. And he just handed me this thing, and it's just like the culture that you have with that. Of like, it's a bit more earthy. And it's developing across people. I've not met him since. He had to go home for a family emergency, I think. Sadly, so I wasn't able to buy anything from him. But it's just sort of like the natural web of people you make doing this, which is brilliant as well.
Yeah.
Which again, something you're probably used to in your communities, right?
That's fascinating. I can make the analog, at least with the furry community, because when it comes down to what we do, I don't know. It's less of like, well, there's a few different connections. So for us, obviously, the animal part is a fun aspect of it. If I run into somebody and it's another cat, I get really excited and I give them hugs and stuff like that. But we resonate that way because we're a cat, and then we can do like various different movements. Like I can like give them a boop, or we can talk about just various different cat things, like, or at least in this case, I have the ability to slap a cheese onto somebody else's like Mayu avatar.
Goodness me.
You can do crazy things. So it's part of that, but I also think the connection that you made there is interesting, because it's not just there's a lore aspect to it, but there's also, you know, this person more personally as a result, right? Because when it comes down to that, the surface describes a lot. Like, I'm a cat, and somebody else could be another cat. But you get to know somebody deeper beyond that, and there's so much nuance that goes into it from a real connection that I love so much about this place. Is why I like hang out here so much, is you can make a real connection. The people who want to roleplay and do that kind of stuff, they can. But at the end of the day, you're making connections, and you're making really healthy connections based off of stuff that you're really fascinated with.
Yeah, and a lot of them are also rooted in the community and the kind of things that you do. Like, if it were any other place, it'd be quite hard to just, like, someone wouldn't generally hand you a glass of beer to try if you'd only spoken to them once, right?
Exactly.
Like, sure, if you're sat at a table with some people at a pub or something, someone might be like, "Oh, what drink you having?" And I'd probably let them have some. You know, it's not really a problem. But I'd barely spoken to this guy amongst a group of people, and he's like, "Yeah, here's my horn, drink from it." Okay, buddy. You know, but it was a nice experience. It did give me confidence as a fairly new reenactor.
Right.
You know, you fit in with this sort of community and group of people, and it's all based on values held within that community as well. You know.
That makes a lot of sense. Small things that make you feel part. Space was reading your mind. Exactly.
Yes.
Exactly. That makes a lot of sense. Also, meow back to you, Dawn Twilight. Speaking of cats, well, okay. So one day I met Dawn in VR chat, right? He's a Beat Saber player like you and me, and we met in VR chat one time because he wanted to hang out, and I turned on some eyes. Let me see if I can. I'll put that on for a minute. So appearance, eyes. So I put on these eyes, and I said,
Oh, they're crazy. I can't see them through the glasses, which is funny.
oh yeah, no, that's a weird quirk. But I look at him directly and I say, you are going to be a cat. A cat is amazing. You're gonna get all the hugs. And he turns into one, and I go, yes. So he's not canonically a cat anymore, at least often. But like I did accidentally turn him into. Accidentally, I can't say that. I was very implicit of me to do.
It was intentional.
It was very intentional. And then I tried it on his cousin, and he said no. And so after that, what happened was I kind of joke because this entire lore is having a whole bunch of weapons. Like he has every avatar that he's ever made at this point has had like a blade or a knife, and he tries to like stab me with it, and I go ah! So like his whole thing is the rejection of being a cat, and so he kept upgrading and upgrading and upgrading, and so now he's at a point where he's like godlike, and that was because I interacted with him and he said no.
Oh, it's just fun. It's fun little communities and stuff like that, isn't it? It's super.
Yeah, accidentally. Yeah, no, it was not an accident. That was a very big impulse. That was, it. How do I say? You reap what you sow. If you do it to certain people. Let's see. I think probably last question we could probably talk about is like, my thought is like you've done Beat Saber quite a bit. We didn't jump into Beat Saber at all, like a lot, but this is because we talked about all the core things that you like to do as well. Yeah. But aside from Beat Saber, it's not something that you've done as often. But what kind of games do you like to do now these days, personally?
Oh, I haven't played a lot of games recently. I'm not gonna lie. Like with university and stuff, I've not been on a lot of games.
Oh.
It's quite sad. I did play Walkabout Mini Golf, as I said earlier. My friend bought it for me, and it was so fun. That's a good one to hang out with and just chill out and terrify each other, because you can turn your hand into a giant sock puppet. You can turn your hand into a sock puppet, and you can also go into like this godlike like top-down view of the map, so you can sort of see everything. But you're still visible, but you're just giant. So what I kept doing was annoying him by going giant, turning my hand into a sock puppet, like leaning over him, and it's just like this massive creature. It is low-key really scary, to be honest, especially in VR. It's a lot of fun. You should try it. You should really try this game. It's great. Minecraft's one I come back to every so often. I played Terraria with my girlfriend a little bit ago. We haven't played for it, but we've been preparing, obviously. I'll visit here. Roblox is also a common one. Pretty much anything I've played recently is probably because of my girlfriend, other than the mini golf one, because we just play various games together and stuff. But generally, I haven't really found much joy in games recently. I don't know why. It's just not really been. I don't know. Just not really been into it.
You know what? This is a good way to wrap up, because think about it this way. We just talked to Mr. Druck over here. He's got himself several different extremes, but he's combining them into a very neat reality. The reason why I say it's a good wrap up, because he is working to have a very healthy lifestyle in general. He's got himself experiences from times past, combining it with modern day things and applying these lessons to the things that go in between each other. He understands robotics to a high degree, allowing him to make very new cutting-edge technology, yet also respecting some of the previous practices that came before him in order to help innovate things for today. Mr. Drock also understands quite a bit about just making sure that your body feels really good and that you're able to get your exercise in, ensure that you have good movement and everything. When it comes down to video games, Joker brought it up earlier. It's the kind of thing where we have excess consumption about a lot of things, and it's very much geared to green things and dopamine. So all that stuff is stuff, naturally speaking, that it's just an educated guess. You're just working hard to take care of yourself, man. And I think that's a very really good, valiant thing to do.
Yes. I went out to a beach the other day that's about an hour drive away, but it's got nice... Did I send you the blog post that I made about that? I don't know if I did.
You did. That's one thing that we didn't talk about. He's a very good writer. I read some of his stuff.
Thank you.
He talked about Atlantis.
I should send you my most recent ritual. It was nice. I tried to combine Old English and Japanese poetry into a ritual on the lost of like mind, heart, and energy or whatever. I don't know. But it was something I was very proud of. It took me like 2-3 weeks to write it properly. But I think it touched a few people who read it, so...
That's good.
Yeah.
I definitely will give it a read. It's awesome.
I'll send it over to you.
Yeah. We'll go ahead and share a couple of these remaining pictures as well. Just we'll flick through them. This is an activity that he did, which was about crocheting, but he wanted to learn something new as part of the No Excuses challenge that he had in Discord.
Except I made excuses and stopped doing it.
Oh, gee. There's also a couple of these items right here. It looks like he's got something under construction with this robotic arm. We'll leave it there for a minute, and then you might have a better explanation. But for the most part, I think that's probably a good way to end it. But Mr. Truck, it has been a lot of fun to be able to talk with you today.
Likewise, yeah.
Yeah. You've got a lot of stuff going for you. I think with the kind of stuff that you're learning with engineering, the past and the present, you've got a lot of good combinations to help you propel forward in ways that a lot of people probably would how do I say? It's special. It's special in a strong way where it makes you uniquely you. I think that's what's important. If people just overlook a lot of this stuff, and it's very easy to do so, and it's very easy to keep yourself in a bubble, you have your ways to be able to help you really get out of that branch. I can see it in the DNA that you're doing, and it's powerful.
I had to use it doing my university course. Keeping myself sane in that time was... yeah. It was a challenge, but I got through it.
You got through it, you got out the other side, and here you are as a beautiful... No, I'm kidding. You're a human. You're human. You're also a dog in VR chat, but you're talking about it. You're talking about it right here.
Whatever form.
Oh my goodness.
Some fantasy fox creature that's probably way too large for what it should be.
Oh goodness. And chat, I do apologize to you. I was mad earlier, but you know what? The fact that we were able to talk about stuff today is exactly why this interview process was so much fun. Because, I didn't tell you this, but when you said that you want to tell a story, that was actually going to be one of the questions that I had too. So, you don't even realize how much stuff wraps around when you just talk about a subject. And when you talk about Mr. Drock over here, there's a lot of stuff that will just intertwine naturally. And so the interview thing, while I do have a structure, it kind of just structured itself because he's right here. He's quite awesome and special and legendary. So
just natural conversation.
Yeah,
how it happens.
It's fantastic. I want to respect your time as best as possible. So we'll go ahead and end things right here. And Drock, again, I said it 3 times already, but appreciate it. Thank you so much for dropping in. This was a lot of fun.
No problems. It's been great to be here. Great experience. I've really enjoyed myself.
Yeah, that's awesome. And if you guys ever want to check him out, that's another question before we do go. Do you have any socials that you would be okay with sharing for like
Ooh.
checking out other things? Or
I'm working on things currently.
okay,
So at some point, yes. Currently, not. Not that it's not okay to share. I just don't have anything ready yet.
fair enough. We'll keep that as a TBD.
The
then.
blog is like, yeah, the blog is like the only thing right now because it's the only thing that has anything on.
Okay.
But eventually, if we come on for another chat at some point, I'll hopefully have some more stuff.
Understood, man. And
We'll see.
If nothing else, he's also on Discord. If you ever want to check him out on Shelf right now, he's over in there in the community as well. So I'm sure, like, whatever questions that you may have or anything else regarding that, I'm sure he's more than happy to, like, answer anything that might have been only glossed over, really. So he's here. He's around.
Yes, I do exist.
Yeah. But thank you guys very much. We'll go ahead and wrap things up. Genuinely appreciated this time. It was a lot of fun. I miss doing these things. We gotta do them some more. It was a lot of fun.
Yeah, I mean, I've got more things that I can talk about. So if you've ever got slots you need to fill, just give me a message.
Duly noted. I think it would be fun. I think it would be a lot of fun. There's a lot of paths we could take. You talked about like reaction time. I think that's one thing that like you could potentially branch out to this just chatting stuff. I've been keeping things like very professional with it. Like I'll talk about person, place, or thing, study it for a while, but every time that we've like accidentally done something or we've actually taken a path here, it's branched out into different ideas that could potentially work out. So I think it's worth doing something, getting uncomfortable like the Mr. Genius Drock has said earlier, and then getting things like changed around and you understand things a lot better than what you otherwise could have. So there you go. I think it might be worth doing some stuff.
Absolutely.
Well, thank you guys again for watching. We'll go ahead. Oh, question for you all: watermelon or cantaloupe? I'm gonna argue.
That's a hard question.
It's like doing apples and oranges, but if I were to pick one, I'm gonna be on team cantaloupe because I've had a lot of watermelon. I feel like cantaloupe has more flavor to it. And okay, it is orange too, but like, hear me out. It tastes really sweet. It almost reminds me of honey. I like cantaloupe. That's where my stance is.
I think that's what we call rock melon. I think I agree with you. They've also got less seeds right in the and they're more firm. I like the texture of.
Yeah. Okay. Interesting. What did you say it was called again? For
rock
you guys?
Melon.
Rock melon. I can see
I think
that.
that's the same thing. I think it's the same thing.
Yeah. That is hilarious. Cantaloupe puts books in a cage so can produce ice cream with a toaster. I don't know why he didn't want to do a toaster for you. Here, while we go find out for somebody to raid, I'll try to get something on a toaster for you, Joker. I am so sorry I wasn't doing that for you. Why the heck, books? Toast. It's not doing it for me either. What? Maybe something broke. Maybe I forgot to add a command. Okay, anyway, let's go ahead and find somebody out to raid. Twitch.tv. We could raid out a Bob Ross, so that might be confusing though.
Bob Ross. I mean, Afton Harris is streaming. He's streaming a librarian, yes.
Afton
Librarian, tidy up the arcane.
Afton. Thank you for letting me know. We could totally do that. That's a wonderful idea. Okay, so what we'll do here, we'll read out to Afton Harris. You think maybe I can make the rated chat talk about periodic table symbols again? Oh no. Be my guest if you want to try that out, Talon. Okay. So, this is Afton Harris. That was a great suggestion, Drock, because fun fact about Afton is that they're actually the ones that like brought us together in the first place. I don't know if, yeah, Jock remembers. So I was in the middle doing a Beat Saber stream, and then we got raided out by Afton. Drock was actually in their group. So as a result of like a combination of the raids, we ran into each other and we had like a really good chat. We gelled and we just became very good friends from that.
Mm-hmm. Afton is great. I like Afton. He's wonderful. So, I think well-deserved raid.
Oh yeah. We'll go ahead and raid out to them. It'll basically take it full circle, because if it weren't for them, this stream actually wouldn't have happened. So much appreciate them a lot.
Exactly.
Okay, we'll go ahead and click that button. Thank you guys again for watching. We'll catch you guys soon. Goodbye.
Bye.